Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Hey! Hello! Win number 4 against the hated Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll ask later, was it worth it? Because you fall down a couple spots in the draft. That's a crazy question to me. Hell yes, it was worth it. For those 3 hours, if nothing else, it was worth it. And we'll all talk about that later. Yeah. Meantime, defense wins the day. Shedeur does enough to win. Has he done enough to win the job for next year? All of these are topics we're going to get into on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Mike, good to see you back. I guess you were back yesterday for the post-game show, right?
Before we even get to that, Jay, you got some bang action right here.
It's growing.
That's kind of fire.
Here's the thing. I'm nearing retirement, I'm closer every day. I said a couple of years back, when I retire, I'm not cutting my hair. I'm not cutting my hair.
Bro, listen, you're going to go out like
MacGyver. It's on, brother.
I like that. You're going to go out like MacGyver. Listen, you're going to see Jay, if you mess around with the Japanese anime swoop to the side.
He's going to look like
that's going to be wild.
We were just talking about comedians. Remember Ron White?
You're so damn
You seen Ron White with all the white hair and the bushy beard? Are you going to shave?
No, I mean I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go mountain man. No way. That's just way too much for me. But I'll go gruff and then I'll shave it off.
Have you ever had long hair in your life?
Oh yeah, when I was in college, I had very long hair.
Not since college.
Long. Wow. It gets crazy wavy. It does. It gets crazy wavy. You got to look out, man.
Shout out to Max B.
It gets nuts. But
catch that one.
I just really, it's one of those things that I think all men hate messing with hair.
Yeah.
And I've always, during my career, it's always been the shorter the better because I don't have to do anything to it. But as I've gotten older, I've just decided that screw it. I'm going back to my roots. Gonna let it go.
Wow.
Well, as the bald spot grows up here, I've considered just shaving.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, really? You'll go full on?
I don't know that I can.
I'm going to shave too, but which is, not great because white guys look terrible with bald heads. I've rarely seen a white guy look good with a bald head. You don't know who can
pull it off like Jay Glazer, like the big dudes that look like they're security guards.
It won't be a good look. No offense, Jason. It's not going to be a good look for you. It's certainly not going to be a good look for me.
It'll look great.
All you got to do is keep the chin strap. If you keep the chin strap, the chin strap goes with
fat and white is a bad combo for a bald head. I'm going to look like the guy. Remember
Hey, you're not going to be fat your whole life.
That's true.
You're not going to be fat your whole life.
Remember Stir Crazy? Was that the one where Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder ended up in jail?
It was, yeah.
I remember that big, huge guy that helps him?
I don't.
He was
mad. That was so many years ago.
I can't think of who knows what the actor's name is.
Yeah.
He looked like Butterbean. Remember Butterbean?
Butterbean. He kind of pulled it off because he was big and bulky.
Yeah, but he looked like kind of silly. I don't know, but we'll see. Hopefully the coverage stays.
Mike, welcome back. How was Thank you. You had good family time.
Very good family time.
Good experience at home for the holidays, and we say welcome back.
Yeah, a little bit of travel.
Oh, speaking of which, Mike, wait, before you go, because this reminded me, because you were debating this. Did I talk about this already?
I wasn't here, so I don't know.
The supermarket, my supermarket situation. Did I talk about it?
Oh, yeah, we talked about it. Yeah.
Oh, I did talk about it.
The old lady with the cart?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's
I couldn't remember. Because I know Mike was debating.
I didn't hear this. Hold on.
Mike was debating that it was a debate in Mike's house. What happened? I told the story on the air, so I'll tell you off.
Okay. I haven't heard it.
I got into it with an old woman. That's the bottom line.
I can't remember my timeline. I'm almost thunderstruck to hear that.
Yeah, it's not a surprise.
No one is off limits for Bull.
Nothing.
nothing.
Well, we will dive into some of that. I got some stories from home, some other stuff that we'll dive into after we get into the real meat of today's show, which is the Browns beating the Steelers. We're going to dive into our first topic after a reminder that Gusto is a proud sponsor of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Let's be real. Nobody starts a business for the joy of calculating tax withholdings or managing payroll spreadsheets. That's where Gusto comes in to take the stress out of your payroll, benefits, and HR so you can focus on running your business and supporting your team. Gusto is the all-in-one, remote-friendly payroll and HR platform that makes managing your team simple, transparent, and fast. Whether you're hiring, onboarding, or paying employees, Gusto helps you do it all from one place without the hassle or hidden fees. Try Gusto today at gusto.com/LockedOnNFL and get 3 months free when you run your first payroll. That's right, 3 months free payroll at gusto.com/LockedOnNFL. One more time, gusto.com/LockedOnNFL.
There we go.
Guys, we saw some very good moments from Shedeur Sanders yesterday. We saw some not nearly as good moments. It was a bit of a tale of two halves for the Browns' rookie quarterback. And as we get into the final week of the season and get ready to head into an offseason, where there will certainly be plenty of questions around the quarterback position, the question I want to start out today is, did Shedeur do enough to confirm your previous thoughts and or change your opinion on the Browns' quarterback plans for next year? Jay, you want to start?
I'll start. Yeah, I think he did because I had said Monday, I said the Browns were going to win the game. I don't know if any of you guys remember.
You know what? You did.
But I said the Browns were going to win the game.
That was wild.
Now, I had two theories for it. One, either the Ravens were going to win, which I didn't think they would win in Green Bay, and they could rest their guys, or I knew they were going to be without their only threat offensively, and that's DK Metcalf, because I'd watched what happened Sunday night, and I knew that he wasn't going to play the rest of the regular season. So I felt very comfortable. I told anybody that would listen, Browns are going to win this football game. The defense stood up. Everything looked great. And I also had said, because we were talking like, are they going to draft a quarterback? And I'd said, it's kind of in Shedeur's hands. If he goes out there and wins, he knocks them down to, I had supposed at the time, 5th or 6th. I didn't anticipate some other things happening. As they sit today, they're 6th. I do believe they'll lose to Cincinnati. They may move up to 5th. But I don't think that's a good enough spot to take a guy. I think after Mendoza is gone, and the kid from Oregon,
Moore.
I think after those two are gone, it's kind of like last year. You got a whole bunch of dudes, and I don't think any of them are the long-term solution. So I think what we have going into 2026 is a Shedeur, Deshaun Watson training camp quarterback duo. And, I mean, who couldn't love that for your 2026 bingo card? You got drama for the whole damn year. So I think he did enough. I did an exercise with some friends yesterday. I said, text me 2 words that describes young Shedeur Sanders. The answers were wild. Mine are tantalizingly intriguing. I know the 7 touchdowns to 10 picks. I get that. But go back and look at Peyton Manning's rookie year. Hell, he led the league and set a quarterback record for picks. Right now, they seem to be in his DNA. You've got to coach those out. If you do, who knows what the hell we have? I mean, the picks have to come out. They have to. So I think if nothing else, we've got a quarterback duo next year of Sanders and Deshaun Watson and whomever else. They may draft a quarterback in the later rounds. But yeah, I think to this point, because to Jason's point, 2026 isn't the year. 2027 isn't the year. We're looking to 2029. And because it's that much of a build-out.
Does it make you sad to say that?
Well, but you're the one that's got me thinking that.
Well,
but you're
it's
right.
True.
No, you're right.
But it's not right.
No, it's not
You see what I'm
fair.
saying?
It's not just.
Just because I keep saying it and I believe it to be true,
Jay,
it doesn't mean teams should think that way.
Jay, listen. When you first said it, I wanted to punch you in the face.
Well, get in line.
But guess what? You were 1,000% right. You tried convincing all of us in August, guys, they are not trying to win. Look at what they're doing with the quarterbacks. You were right then. You were right long term. This is a 2029 play. He's trying to find a quarterback, and he's got 3 years to do it. So, but for next year, again, they're not trying to win next year either. If someone can convince me they are, stand up. I don't think they are.
They don't care about winning until 2029. That
I do think that's their plan. Their long-range plan is to fix it by 29.
They're hoping to be good by then. They'd like to be good before then.
Oh, sure. Well, I'm not saying they're sitting there going, "Boy, I hope we suck." I don't think that's it. But I do think that the reality of the situation being what it is with the salary cap and how they're struck there, what are they going to do? They are literally stuck in that hell. So I think they've kind of come to the conclusion that we're going to suck. We can't do anything with our cap. We can't do anything with free agents. They had a nice draft last year. Put 3 or 4 good draft classes together and figure out the quarterback by 29. Then you've got a city that is on fire with excitement as they move into the new building. Outside of that, I mean, am I excited about the Shedeur Sanders, Deshaun Watson quarterback derby? Not really, but it'll be fun to watch.
G, go ahead.
You know, you got to pardon me. I've been listening to Young Jeezy all morning. Thug Motivation 101. This is more than words. This is more than raps. This is the street. I am the trap. Standing ovation. And you already know my slogan, man. You already know what my slogan is. We came alive in 25 and 26 we ain't gonna miss. So you already know. Don't pour me no Kool-Aid. Why do I need Kool-Aid? Where's the Kool-Aid Mafia at? We don't need nothing.
Upside down.
Upside down. Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid. Hey, listen, we gonna shut the chat down. I need all my ones. If you in the Kool-Aid Mafia and you got the wrist up, I need the ones. Let me just sit this on my lap as I talk. You see what it is.
Tuck yourself in, G.
Let's tuck myself in.
Put it out. Wear it as a bib for the whole show.
Let me wear it right here. I'm just want to wear it right here. Let me just tuck myself in like a
You should
child.
make a sweatshirt that has that.
Oh, I got all of them. Yeah, we already got them. Them
I
already
haven't
been
seen
moving.
that,
They
I'll
already
say.
moving. Everything already moving. I'm telling you. Let me just tell y'all this as I tuck myself in warm. I am a Cleveland Browns fan. I don't have no other teams. I ain't got a fallback team. I ain't got a team in case they move. I like them. I ain't got a team that I can just pull up. I root for 3 teams: the Cam McKinley Bulldogs, the Ohio Bobcats, and the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, I thought you were a Buckeye fan too.
I can't root for them. I'm not going to cry if the Buckeyes lose. I root for them because I got friends that played for them. But guess what? I'm going to use your analogy.
I didn't know that.
I'm going to use your analogy. Shout out to the Buckeyes. If the Buckeyes beat that team up north 13-6, we ain't crying about the way it looked. We're going to take that L. We're going to take them W's too. We're going to take all W's we get. The Pittsburgh Steelers, shout out to them. I respect what they do. I respect their organization. I respect Mike Tomlin. But let me just tell you something. If you want to measure how you want to get a culture started, you want to measure how you go about winning games, you get a bunch of young guys like they did today or yesterday, and you get them to go out there and play the way they did. I'm going to spoil a lot of y'all's stuff today. Y'all didn't even think I was coming with this. Didn't even understand it. Hey, Kevin Stefanski, come here and let me talk to you real quick.
You were coming with this.
No, hold on.
Not this part.
Not this part. Kevin Stefanski. Great job. What, G. Bush? Hold on. Stop.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
Cole, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. You know why I'm going to give him credit? See, this is what you can do. I don't got to, if I don't believe Kevin Stefanski is a long-term answer, it don't matter. In football, you can give credit where credit is due. The Cleveland Browns came out there yesterday, in a terrible game where he probably knows what his fate is, but his team played hard. He called timeout when he needed to call timeout. Carson Schlesinger was hobbling around and refused to come out of the game. Harold Fanning gave it what he could. He caught the touchdown pass, and they got the dub. You know what I saw? They didn't give up on him.
No, they played hard.
They played hard.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show y'all can give credit where credit is due. Mason Graham, we got on you all last week. We killed you all last week. Guess what? Game ball for you. Leader of the Kool-Aid Mafia. You played your tail off. You were sideline to sideline, moving around, getting it done. I like what I seen from Mason Graham. And then finally with Shedeur Sanders, I'm going to show y'all how this really works. Listen, Shedeur Sanders had 2 throws that were inexcusable. Clip this for everybody that looks around here. Clip it so you can see it. C.G. Bush told him that interception that he threw across his body cannot happen. His dad knew it. He knew it. Stefanski knew it. Everybody in the stadium knew it. And you could see his face on the bench. He said, ooh, I want that one back. That was inexcusable. The second one was where he threw this ball. That was a turnover-worthy throw. When they almost jumped that route. They dropped it, though. They dropped it. The first interception, 68, we'll talk about you. You got to be like a drum all day. Listen, we're not going to talk about that. But let me tell you, Them first two interception-worthy, turnover-worthy throws, there was that. But let me tell you what I did see from him. I seen throws in the intermediate game plus 10 yards. Plus 10 yards, the Jerry Jeudy throws. I seen Cedric Tillman corner route. I seen Isaiah Bond deep over route. I seen him get to his third step, hit the progression. I seen him throw it between 2-3 windows. I seen him move in the protection. Tony Romo talked about it. Tony said, ooh, that's high-level quarterback play. I like what he did. That wasn't even really no route. He just threw it over there. I like what I seen from him. Shedeur Sanders is a rookie. But it's undeniable you see throws. That tantalizing thing you see, Jay, that's him making throws and plays and getting better each and every week. He took 2 sacks this game. Aaron Rodgers took 2 sacks for 8 yards. Shedeur Sanders was only for 2 yards. That means he's not running backwards. I saw him changing the protection, and I saw him doing it, and he's getting better each and every game. And the biggest thing we talk about, when we talked about it before, when he threw for 365 against the Tennessee Titans, we said, that's nice. We got to get the dub. The Pittsburgh Steelers came into this game, and they could have clinched the division on your field. And the Cleveland Browns found a way to do what?
Take that win.
Get that
Is
W.
that really their 4th straight win against the Steelers in Cleveland?
6 and 7.
It is.
4 straight and 6 and 7.
And Jay, the
I
last
don't know
4,
why
by the
that
way.
caught me off guard yesterday when I heard that.
It shocked me too.
I had not realized that
4
we
straight.
have dominated them at home.
The last 4, Jay, quarterbacks to beat them at home in that stretch.
Yeah.
Shedeur, Jameis, DTR, Jacoby. Makes it even better.
That's wild.
And by the way,
you got to give Stefanski credit for that.
before they go, of course he showed enough. And listen, you think Jimmy has him and he's owning the Steelers? You think he wasn't coming away saying, look at my rookie quarterback and what he did and got me this win? We're going to take that and we're gonna build on it. Deshaun Watson will be on the roster. Listen, if he really want to put it out of contention, hey, Shedeur, if you really want to get him all the way out of here, go down to Cincinnati and beat the Bengals. We'd be talking about running backs.
Well, that would be a huge accomplishment because of the way Cincinnati's offense is playing.
Let's go, Mafia. Let's go.
Do you think that's doable? A win at Cincinnati?
They're not playing for anything.
They ain't playing.
No, but they haven't been playing for anything the last 2 weeks. They look like world beaters.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think their offense is trying to get that rhythm back for next year.
Those Week 18 games are coin flips when
especially conference games.
When
Is
neither
Burrow
team
playing?
has nothing on the line.
Burrow's playing.
I assume so.
Yeah.
I would
Go ahead.
Playing. Chase is playing the whole lot of them.
I mean, how am I supposed to follow that?
Yeah.
Am I supposed to want me to go?
Well, I think I think it's
Skip
great.
that.
I mean-
skip that and go for the bull.
You want to hear Dr. Death now or later?
Well, let's have
Go
it
ahead, you
because I mean, there's obviously some holes in that. There's the elephant in the room, the 7 touchdowns to 10 picks. I mean, I guess that's where you would start. But
Well, no. I mean, so I was having this conversation last night. I was talking to Varden and Windhurst.
Yeah.
Just about like what this whole season has been like. And I said,
did they have a comparison?
well, I said covering Shedeur is like covering LeBron, but without the world-class talent.
Oh, wow.
Because
Because of the drama?
everything is, listen, I lived in this bubble for 4 years.
Yeah.
I was with him every single day from September to June for 4 years. Everything's a headline. Everything's a story.
Yeah.
Everything gets blown out of proportion. Everybody has to talk about him. All his teammates have to talk. The coaches asked about him constantly. It is a drain on the organization when you have to behave this way. And the thing with LeBron was he brought all of his own smoke. He created all of his own smoke.
Yeah.
And he ran up a bill from September to April. He ran up a big bill. And then you know what he did? He
paid it off.
paid the check
Yeah, he
every
did.
year in April, May, and June.
He made it worth- he made the juice worth the squeeze.
He made it all worth it. And
Yeah.
he made all of the headaches and all of the drama and all of the nonsense that teams have to put up with him for all those
difference,
months.
though,
He made it all worth it.
Shedeur doesn't, it's not self-inflicted
It
with
is not.
Shedeur. This
It's
kid
not.
is just a
It's
model
not.
kid.
But it doesn't matter.
I know, it's still there.
When there's a hole in the pool, you still got to fix the hole. And that's the thing. That's the part that's disappointing because I've said it before. I actually really like Shedeur. Like I think he's a good kid.
I do
think
too. I'm rooting for him.
But with all of the stuff that comes around him, it is a drain on organizations. And the Browns brought all this on themselves. I don't see the talent that makes it worth it. Yesterday has no bearing. And by the way, if you wanted to fire Kevin before yesterday, you should still want to fire him now.
Why?
What difference does one win
Well,
make?
I think the thing G touched on this, and this is my takeaway. Even if the Steelers had completed that touchdown pass at the end of the game, and the Browns had lost for whatever, the one thing that we always talk about is you can tell when a team is done with a coach just by their
Absolutely.
effort. I will say in Tampa, There was a big discussion yesterday about how their defense has played with no energy for the last 6 weeks. I don't know what's going on there because I'm not close to that situation, but that hasn't happened here, and I do think that's a testament.
They are
to
still defense was terrible.
And
to be fair, the defense had been terrible.
They had been,
week.
but Bull, the one thing I hadn't seen was a team that quit.
All right, but here's the thing.
Quit.
You don't get pats on the back for
no,
team
you don't.
playing
But
hard.
you can't.
That's not the goal of a
no,
coach.
but to me, when you're going to move on from a coach, the one sure way, like in Tampa, he's dead man walking.
But
Todd Bowles is dead man walking.
Get back. Can we get back to the question? Because I don't know that we've answered the question. Did Sanders do enough to change the Browns quarterback?
I said yes. Jay says yes. I think we do have his answer.
Jason.
No.
I mean, did it change the Browns? I have no idea if it changed the Browns' plans. Did it change what I would do? No. I would move on from them after the season.
Yeah.
I'd get them out.
By the way, I think this is the last thing I'm going to say on it. I'm not going to comment on it anymore. We have spent way too much time. We are to blame, not the fans.
Well, the media in general.
We are to blame because we have spent so much time talking about it's a pain in the ass to cover. It's a this. The fans are crazy. That's part. We got to shut the hell up about it. I don't care about the coverage. I don't care about any of it. All right? I'm going to keep it real. Here's the truth. The truth is, of course he didn't. Of course he hasn't done enough to change the quarterback plans. In my opinion, I said last week, I'm not sure about Shedeur Sanders. I'm not sure if he's good enough. And what am I going to say today? The same thing.
So you're
I'm not sure. I haven't changed my mind. The first 20 minutes of the game, roughly, the first two drives,
incredible.
And then the
scripted plays.
If you include the first two passes of the third possession, he was like 10 of 11 for 120 yards. And they were running the ball, a little bit in that first 20 minutes. From that point on, the offense was horrendous. The offense literally did nothing the rest of the game.
Yeah,
no passing, no quarter. There was nothing. The offense did nothing. So the Browns didn't win that game because of Shedeur Sanders. We know that. Just like they didn't lose the game against Tennessee. I took no credit away from him because they lost, because it had nothing to do with him. And I'm not giving him extra credit for the win because he didn't do much. He did some. He was part of the reason they won. He was part of it. But I'm not going to say, he put them on their back. Come on.
It was the defense.
It was the defense that won this game. And the Steelers' pathetic game plan, we'll get to that later, how embarrassing that was. But the truth about Shedeur Sanders, and there's so little of it right now, is that we don't know. To me, if you're saying he's a certain top, even 15 quarterback, you're out of your mind. And even though some of the analytics say there's no he's terrible, everything has to be taken into account. All the numbers are part of the process. It's part of the process. There are games of. When I look at Shedeur Sanders, I see parts of his game that I'm like, ooh, that's interesting. There's talent. There's some talent there. I think he has some potential. I'm not sure how high the potential is. And there's other parts of his game where I'm like, that's not good. This is these interceptions are horrible. Yeah. Those two interceptions were, too hideous, especially the toss-up that ended up being the one that actually was an interception.
Yeah, that's
one of the worst throws I've ever seen.
I don't know what he was
and so. And again,
tantalizingly interesting.
That's it. I'm interested, but if the Browns before this game, if the Browns were saying, I don't know, which I think most reasonable people are saying, I don't know, and we'll see, could be, could not be. I don't think it changes your mind. Now it limits your opportunity because you now will probably not be able to draft those quarterbacks.
I'm glad you brought that up because I did factor that into my decision. Look, if they're sitting at 2 or 3. It changes the math on this because one of those, Mendoza or more, are going to be there for sure.
Potentially, yes.
Unless there's a trade.
Yeah.
So, and quite frankly, I think the rest of the league we'll find out during the draft process. I think everybody's kind of graded these guys for who they are and what they are. We'll take a flyer on them if they're there. I would be stunned if any team made a big move to go up and get either one of these guys.
The Jets and Raiders are, as of now, probably picking 1-2.
1 and 3, aren't they? I think the Jets are 3.
Yeah, I think it is. Did you guys see the stat on Mendoza that was circulating this weekend about his 32 touchdowns? When I saw that.
Well, that was a dumb stat because they've got good teams into the bad category and bad teams in the good.
It wasn't dumb on this count. It made me raise my eyebrows because I realized, gosh, I've only watched him play. I watched him play 3 games. I watched him two of them were against awful teams.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this dude can sling it. I didn't realize that against the 6 teams with winning records, he had only thrown 6 touchdowns.
Well,
and all of his other touchdowns, 27, came against horrific teams.
No, but you got to look at that. If it's the thing that Ty was put in our group chat, I don't know if Mendoza's going to be good. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't either.
But some of the teams that were like bad teams were lumped in with the bad, like it was flipped.
There's
It
one
was
bad team that was lumped in
like
with the 6 touchdowns.
Maryland was in like the bad category, and Illinois, like
it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant, guys. They're not going to be able to draft it.
He threw 6 touchdowns against like the 6 notable opponents.
To me,
that he
stats
had.
don't matter. In terms
I know, but we'll find out with him because he's got more football to play. Thank God.
I'm glad you corrected the record. You have to again. I'm going to say it as I talk about Mendoza. I'm not going to take stats out of context and use like, okay, well, he's not good. I've already said I think Mendoza is going to be a good quarterback. It's all about where they have him rated. That, like Sean King said, is he good enough to take at that high premium pick compared to whatever else you got on the roster? So I'm not going to use that against him either. Like you got to put that in context.
At this point, though, it doesn't matter because the Browns are not in.
No, and that's why I think based on the fact that they won and moved down to 6. Now I want to ask Jay, because you're talking to guys, you're getting a pulse of the organization. I had someone who does not cover this team on a regular basis, but covers the NFL.
Yeah.
Tell me 2 things yesterday that made me raise my eyebrows. He is not reporting either of these things. I asked him for his degree of confidence. He goes, I'm not reporting them.
Yeah.
I'm hearing them.
Yeah.
But the people I'm hearing them from have been wrong before.
Yeah.
I wanted to know, was Stefanski coming back, and are they definitely sure that Shedeur is coming back? He believes Stefanski has done enough. He does not think Kevin Stefanski is getting fired.
I don't think you can. First of all, it's funny because I got asked that. A couple people were asking me that yesterday after the game. I'm like, who knows? The game just ended.
It is a guess.
If this game alone changed
it
Jimmy's,
shouldn't.
I don't think
they're as big a losers as I think they are.
No, I don't think it had anything to do with it.
Insane.
If you made up your mind before the game,
you shouldn't change your mind.
That shouldn't change your mind.
100%. I agree.
But again, go back to the start of the year. I thought they would win about 5 games this year. 5-6 games somewhere there. I thought they would beat Dolphins, Titans, Jets, and probably run into 1 or 2 other wins. They beat the Dolphins.
The Raiders.
They lost to the Jets and Titans. And I thought they would beat both of those teams.
I did too.
So, I mean, if they beat Cincinnati next week, they're going to wind up exactly where I thought that they were, 5 or 6 wins, somewhere in that range. So the season has sort of played out. Like when you get to the finish line, it's sort of what I thought it was going to be when we get there. But the path that they took to get there was so wild. And again, you don't build these teams on spreadsheets. This isn't fantasy football.
Right.
Yeah. Well, these are like real human beings with real emotions that went through a lot of shit this year.
Yeah.
And I know we're not supposed to cuss, Steve. Sorry. There's no other word to use it. The Browns went through a lot of shit this year.
They did.
And there's left some scars. Like this was a really hard year inside that building. Way worse than I think people realize.
Worse than last year. We are sidetracked because we're talking about Stefanski later.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right, then I'll shut up. But anyway, if I don't think yesterday should have any bearing on the decision. If you were going to fire him now, if they win again next week, I don't know, man. Let's have this conversation all over again, I guess. But 1 win, I don't think should change the mind.
If we go back to put a bow on the Shedeur conversation just really quickly, I don't think people understand. Like, I'm going to give them a lot of credit because I just saw this team. I just saw this defense go play in Detroit and had Jared Goff play one of his worst games. They got ball players in Detroit. They didn't make the playoffs this year, but when you talk about Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams, they got Gibbs, they got Goff, they got one of the best offensive lines. The Steelers went to Detroit and put a stake in pretty much in their playoff hopes. So I'm going to go back and just compare it to this. I know for a fact you ain't got 13 points, but let me tell you this. Yeah, your offense is going to stall out if you got, listen, I just keep asking my man Hayward. I keep asking Hayward to retire because he's been dominant. To me, he's one of the best defensive tackles. He's a Hall of Famer. He's balling. Patrick Queen is a beast. Jalen Ramsey is a guy back there. Highsmith is a monster. They got 4 names that dominate and can wreck game plans. And the Browns have a backup offensive line. The Browns didn't have Juckins. Fannin was going after the first quarter. And they out there. And they out there at least moving the ball with Sanders and Williams in the backfield and Canelo. Only Canelo I know is Alvarez, and he blocks. So for me, I'm going to take that 13 and cook and take that dub of the team that needed the win. Good luck next week, Pittsburgh, because you got to go see the Ravens. Shout out to the Browns for going ahead.
Grade for Shedeur. Grade for Shedeur.
I give him a C. You know when 13 points is enough? When you hold the other team to 6. That's great.
Grade for Shedeur.
C minus.
C minus.
All in the same range.
All right, let's talk about the other side of the ball here, guys, with one Myles Garrett. Myles conversation brought to us by the Cleveland Monsters, with the best entertainment in the land, great promotions and affordable tickets. Cleveland Monsters hockey is the perfect outing for any family, with reoccurring games like 1, 2, 3 Fridays, Monster Family Days, Blue Jacket games, and giveaway nights. There is something for everyone at Rocket Arena when the goal horn sounds. This time, it's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's Superman Night presented by GE Lighting with the Cleveland Monsters. Celebrate Superman on Tuesday, December 30th at 6:30 p.m. with Monsters Hockey as they take the ice in Clark Kent warm-ups and Superman-inspired game jerseys. The first 2,500 kids 14 and under get a Superman cape. Tickets are on sale now, so fly on over to clevelandmonsters.com.
I would expect when they wear that jersey, they're going to score like 75 goals.
They better.
Good.
I mean, you got 5 Supermen on the 6 goalie every
what
play.
if the other team has kryptonite?
Well, that could be true.
Well, speaking of Superman, Myles Garrett has basically been Superman this year for the Cleveland Browns. And yesterday, he did not get the sack record. He didn't have many pressures, but he also didn't have many opportunities because of Pittsburgh's offensive game plan. This is what Myles said after the game about what he thought Pittsburgh did to negate him. Myles said, quote, "To an extent, they were more worried about keeping me away from Aaron than getting the win. That's what came back to bite them," end quote.
Dang, that was facts.
He was 100% right.
For the record,
Facts.
he's not the only player who I heard say that. So that was definitely something they were talking about on the sideline.
Well,
I think that's I think it's insane.
I think it's insane too, but I watched the game with my son-in-law, who's a Steelers fan, and I told him after midway through the first quarter, I said, "Your boy is not going to get sacked today. That is his number one objective." He came to Cleveland and he said, "He's not getting a record on me." And in the third quarter, I said, "And it might be to his team's detriment. They are going to lose this game because he refuses to play quarterback without worrying about getting sacked by 95.
By the way, if the Steelers don't make the playoffs, I would fire Mike Tomlin, even though he's a very good coach. I would fire him.
I think he will be fired if they miss.
I don't see. I think it's insane to say they were so worried about the record that they weren't worried about going to the playoffs. That's basically what we're saying.
No,
I
because
can't agree with that.
It wasn't an elimination game.
But it could have
If it was an elimination game, I think he would have thrown havoc to the win and said, let's just win the game.
But we're acting like they're related. In order to win the game, you have to avoid Myles. Like, they go hand in hand.
Well,
they went
no,
too
that's
far.
not true. Myles has had 3 sacks in a game this year, and they lost.
Yes,
so
but
you can win by getting sacked.
But
I just thought he was overly preoccupied
But
about
they were.
95.
Obviously, they didn't care more about the sack record than winning.
That's insane.
But it
I feel like
seemed
Aaron
that-
Rodgers did.
No,
I
there's
don't
no
know.
way.
I just feel like he was laughing
I mean,
when he was talking and saying, "You're not getting me today."
I had a player tell me he
just-
is so petty. He looked more obsessed without giving him the record than actually winning the game.
I agree with that.
This was
1,000%.
clearly a talking point on their side.
It was an
100%.
embarrassing game plan by the Steelers.
I have no idea what
the
they were
Browns
trying to do.
There's never been a player probably in the history of the sport that had a bigger impact on a game without doing anything. Like Myles Garrett had no stats, basically.
There was one play where they tripled him. I watched it. They tripled him on one play.
Yeah.
He was basically a slot corner at times yesterday.
Yeah.
He was so wide.
outside of the last drive in the hurry up, they barely threw the ball.
Listen,
all screen passes.
before that last drive, I turned the McNuggets on the watch party. Shout out to everybody who did listen to the watch party. We sitting there, I said, do you understand Aaron Rodgers has thrown the ball 33 times and he has 110 yards?
Because everything was a screen pass.
I mean, the fourth down was an embarrassment.
How many passes did he have to a wide receiver?
The fourth down fade route. They threw a fade on fourth down.
That was insane.
There
on
were
fourth
only
and a
16.
foot.
Yeah.
There were only 16 catches by wide receivers in the game. Period. Both teams combined.
I don't understand Pittsburgh's game plan at all yesterday.
That was crazy.
None of it made sense.
It was crazy. I don't know what on earth they were doing. I agree with something you said earlier. Mason Graham, I thought, had an excellent game. It was his best game in a while.
Yeah, he played well.
He was impactful. Devin Bush has had a really nice season.
Denzel Ward stood up.
He played well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Denzel.
That was pass interference on that last play.
No, that was good.
It was questionable.
No.
It was questionable.
It was questionable.
It could go either way.
I wouldn't.
But
I personally wouldn't have called it because it determines the winner or loser. Perhaps
it was a nobody
By
receiver.
not calling it,
It's
you
a
determine
nobody
the winner.
receiver against Denzel Ward. Denzel's
Yeah,
getting
Denzel
going
gotta
to
get-
get every
that makes
time.
no sense. That's
but
not
I
an
love
excuse for
Denzel's
not calling.
comments after the game.
That's how it
But I
goes.
agree
He's
with
like,
him.
Why are you trying me 3 times at the end of the game?
That's insane.
It makes
too.
absolutely no
The
sense
one
whatsoever.
guy you don't want to challenge is the
And then
one
went
guy
at
they
him
win at
3
every
straight
time.
times.
Tyson Campbell. Let me talk to you about Tyson Campbell.
Incredible.
Tyson Campbell had a heck of a game.
Played well.
I mean, this guy, it was a throw over the middle, and you knew you receivers when you trailing a receiver over the middle, we all seen it on a dig or a slant route. It's like your hand is in a cookie jar because defensive backs want to get handsy. They want to reach over quick. He did a great job 3 or 4 times putting his hand and deflecting it right at the last moment. We call that, Tyvis, where you at, man? Tyvis, let them know you gotta have them timing hands. You gotta be patient with them. Oop, no, get out of here. Nope, I got that too. I thought he had a game. Let me talk about Carson Schlesinger real quick.
Oh, what heart.
Man, that dude, this dude was hobbling. We said take him out the game. We said he can't, listen, he's hurt, get him up out of here. For him to be hobbling around the way he did, and I turned to Earl and I said, you know why they ain't taking him out? I don't think Jim Shorts trusts anybody to get him lined up.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And
I think that had a lot to do with it.
And he said, you know what, you got to stay in. But look what, I mean.
Wasn't it a risk of him getting further?
Yes.
Yes, A,
didn't
you're right on
understand
that.
that,
And B, my thing was, and I'm screaming, get him out of the game.
I was too.
Because what does Aaron Rodgers do? He dissects a team's weakness and then attacks it. I couldn't believe that he wasn't running tight ends right at him.
The one play on third down.
He did.
And it was
but I was surprised they didn't do it more. That's usually what Aaron Rodgers at the end of the half looked over at his sideline and basically told him to STFU. I don't know if you guys remember that. They were running
I
the
saw
tide.
that. Yeah.
He looks right over at him. And
At the Browns sideline?
No, Steelers.
Oh, Steelers.
He's basically telling them, shut it. He was mad at a substitution that they had made.
Yeah.
He basically was saying, I've got this.
Yeah.
He did the same thing at the end of the game. He takes them right down the field at the end of the game and then makes 4 of the worst decisions I've ever seen him make.
The point on Schlesinger, so yesterday after the game, we're in the locker room, and the locker room basically cleared out. Like, all the players were gone. That's how long it was. Like, everybody was showered, dressed, and leaves. And he was just now coming out of the trainer's room, dragging his leg to get to his locker, still in full uniform. Not full uniform, his pads were off, but still in his uniform. And, I mean, I don't know how long time-wise, but everybody else was dressed, showered, dressed, and gone. And he was just getting done with his treatment and leaving the locker room. So, I mean,
This is a guy
dude's
that
a warrior.
didn't miss a week with a high ankle.
I mean, the guy's an awesome player. He is the best draft pick that Andrew Berry's ever made. To this point,
we give Andrew Berry a lot of credit on this year's draft, but we also I don't know
giving him way too much credit.
Well,
in my opinion,
I don't. I think he's got 4 hits, and if you get 4 hits in a draft, that's a good draft.
Mason Graham's got to be a superstar. It's not a hit.
To me, he's got 4 hits. Greg Newsome, what's Greg doing? How's he doing?
Nothing.
At last check, he was a nickel corner. Getting benched.
Jay said a nickel corner for a second.
Yeah, a nickel bag. You say, dang, he's
a nickel corner.
He called him a dime bag? That's crazy.
And so I think he gets credit for the Campbell move,
Tyson Campbell.
Like, so throw that into the Andrew Berry fire for this year. Moves that he's made this year that's made this team markedly better.
Do you consider the fact that he did, in fact, trade for Cam Robinson as a negative?
That's a fact. That's a fact. He did that. That's a negative.
Are we doing a topic on that?
We're going to get to I'm just busting Jay's ball.
Okay. All right.
If we're going to give him credit for the good trade, we do have to mention the fact
McNuggets.
Yeah, that trade wasn't the problem. The trade was triage for the earlier problem.
Yeah, then what are you going to do?
So we got to listen. We got to get to what the chat was calling it. This was wild work. I cannot believe this.
Save it because we're going to do a whole specific topic on it. Last thing before we move on. Bull, do you believe, yes or no, the Steelers did care more about not letting Myles break the record?
No, he's already said.
Of course not. That's silly. But they were worried way too much about it.
Yeah.
Way too much. That they got out of everything. And that shows you that why Myles Garrett is the best player in football by far, or at least the best defensive player in football by far. Because I have never seen a team react to one player like that I can recall.
In my mind, does Joe Burrows take a lot of sacks?
Yes. Less lately. And by the way, when everybody was, not that it matters because they stink, but early in the season when people kept saying the same narrative that the Bengals offensive line stinks, I said, hold on, I think this is the best offensive line he's ever had. And early in the season, it wasn't. The second half of the season, they've been very good.
Yeah.
So it's better. But he still takes sacks because he holds the ball and looks to make plays. I actually didn't watch a minute of their game yesterday because it was on the same time as the Browns.
And
because they're out of it, I wasn't
nothing to
worried
play
about it.
for. Yeah.
And they won in blowout fashion.
Rodgers gotten rid of the ball quickly all year. His time to throw was like 2.5 seconds, but it was
Miles will sack Burrow.
But I looked at.
You think?
No, I'm talking to Rodgers. Not Burrow.
No, I know. I'm saying
yesterday. Yeah, he probably will.
He will.
But Aaron has gotten it out quickly all year. He's like 2.5 seconds. It's really fast. Yesterday was even faster.
Yeah, it was
so
crazy.
there is, if you want to buy the conspiracy, whatever. I don't. I think that I don't understand what their game plan was.
It was
I
nuts.
have no idea what they were trying to
I
accomplish.
hope they lose. I'm rooting for the Ravens next week.
That would be wild.
If Lamar plays, I think the Ravens win.
I will say, if you look at it, you just flip it to the Steelers' perspective. If you're a Steelers fan, that was an unacceptable loss.
Oh, my God.
You lost
Absolutely.
with a rookie quarterback, the worst offensive line, no weapons.
You just scored one touchdown.
They got three. They got 6 points.
That's it.
When you could have clinched.
Now, the loss of DK obviously
Huge.
stunts their offense. Boy, their offense is bad, too.
I mean, then they lost Washington.
And Austin was out, and then Washington went out. I mean, they did have, they've got some injuries
you
racking up,
you
too,
got to
but
score.
You're playing for the
Browns
The
got
Browns are
nothing.
playing for nothing.
You're playing
and
a
you got
3-win
beat.
team. You have to score one
They
touchdown.
got a Hall of Fame quarterback. He's got to win that game for them.
And I just can't believe that we actually own the Steelers in something.
Yeah.
6 of the last 7 times in Cleveland
nuts.
we've won.
Then don't look at the record in Pittsburgh.
Well, I'm going to totally ignore that.
I don't remember.
I'm just glad we got the
It's
leg
what
up
have
on
you
them
done
with
for me
something.
lately?
It is
Jay.
wild to think that they won 4 straight in Cleveland.
Ben
Roethlisberger is 3rd on the all-time wins list in Cleveland, Brown Stadium, Huntington Bank,
No, he's
whatever.
not.
Yes, he is.
He's second.
No, Flacco passed him.
No, I don't think
It's
he
Baker
did.
and Flacco.
Well, Flacco
It's Baker
did.
and Flacco.
Well, Flacco also had some Baltimore wins, too.
He got them Baltimore wins.
Flacco also was mostly
Yeah, I know,
Ravens.
but he nudged ahead of Ben based on
did
his
he?
time here.
Yeah, I think I saw that,
It's still
too.
insane.
It's insane.
Yeah,
but that's how much the Steelers
number 2
have
and number
dominated.
3. We've had 44 quarterbacks.
And the
Number 2 and number 3 are not Browns.
Most of their career was spent elsewhere. Number 2, most of his career was
Yeah,
spent elsewhere.
Flacco
3,
played a handful of home games. for
Ben
us.
never played one game for the Browns. He's 3rd in that stadium's all-time wins
just
list.
insane.
It's stunning.
But you know what? The best thing that ever happened to Cleveland in terms of playing Pittsburgh and Cleveland was Ben retired. And now we own them. It feels good to say. Steelers, we own you in Cleveland. And you know it. You do not want to
Talk
come
your
back
stuff.
to Cleveland.
Talk it.
Talking, Jay. All right, guys, let's get to our
I'm with
next
you, Bill. I'm
topic.
rooting for the Ravens.
Yeah, I know.
It is brought to us
hate
by
the Steelers
Prize
more.
Picks. The entire episode today is brought to us by Prize Picks. We make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right gets you paid. Don't miss the excitement of any sports this season, whether you're following the NFL, NBA, or both. There's no better time to jump in on the action. If you haven't tried it yet, Prize Picks is the simplest way to play. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats, and if you get them right, you win. It takes less than 60 seconds to make your lineup, and you can play anywhere that Prize Picks operates. Just download the Prize Picks app today and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 in lineups after you play your first 5. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Jay, you mentioned this earlier, that the question of was the win worth it, something you vehemently disagree with. There are people on both sides of the fence here taking stuff from online, taking stuff from the chat yesterday during the watch party, taking in opinions from text I've got, I'm sure you got, that falling in the draft was not worth beating the Steelers. So I want to let you start with this because I think some other people
Well, I'll be quick. I mean, I already said it.
but, yeah.
Absolutely, it was worth it. You know, you watch football for, 51 hours a year, your team, your NFL team. You get them for 51 hours a year. How do we spend those hours? Well, the vast majority of them we spend yelling, cursing, cussing, and ruining our day. Yesterday, that was the exception. My week has been made. For those 3 hours, I was able to cheer for my football team as they beat a team who is the team I hate most and the team that was trying to win the division. Now I hope Baltimore can finish them off and they miss the playoffs for a rare occasion. And we can say we had a hand in that. Yeah, we go from 2 to 6 in the draft or 3, wherever we were. I think we were 3.
It would have been 2.
It would have been 2.
Yeah, it'd be 2 if they had lost.
That sucks. Yeah, of course it does. But life is about experiences. When you go on the vacation, you don't think about the 10K you dropped. You think about the 10 days you had in Aruba. And this was an experience. I enjoyed those 3 hours. The Browns get dinged in the draft and they fall a couple spots. I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah, Rosie, we got to step our game up. Evidently, vacations is $10K now. Yeah, we got to figure this out. Like that little 5, we can't be at the Comfort Inn. This is wild work.
Cheap vacations.
All right, they can't be 10K.
I was actually thinking if you can do a vacation Aruba in 10K for 10 days, sign me up.
That's a good deal, right?
That's a great deal.
Yeah,
if you can do 10 days Aruba for 10K,
Yeah, you got to use
transportation, lodging,
everything.
food.
Yeah.
Tip to tip.
That's a lot more than 10K for 10 days.
You got to use a travel agent.
Man,
And they get you the deals, but you don't think about the cost when you come home.
That's true.
You're not thinking about that. You're thinking about what an incredible 10 days you had in the sun. It was fun. And you know what? You have to pay the draft piper in April.
Yeah.
That's going to suck. It will.
Yeah,
to
right.
watch
Like,
5 other teams.
When you see the bill.
Yeah, you're right. Well, I don't look at it. I tell Tracy, you take.
I kind of mostly agree with you. When you're watching your team play, like I said, I wasn't watching the Bengals, and I wasn't.
You were score watching.
And they would have been better off losing for a draft pick.
They would have.
But I was kind of happy that they beat up the Cardinals.
Sure.
I like it. I want Joe Burrow to play well. I want in the moment, I want my team. I don't think anybody could argue that right now, I'd rather the Browns have the 2nd pick in the draft than the 6th pick in the draft. There's no debate on that.
Yeah.
But when you're watching your team play football, it's impossible. I mean, I think it's impossible to root for your team to lose. Yes. Yeah. Is there a benefit in the long run? Is there any benefit to winning this game? No. There's no benefit to winning this game. People talk, you beat the Steelers.
Except the experience. Except for those 3 hours.
Right, outside of that.
Yeah.
In terms of what's better for the franchise in the long term, it's probably had been losing the game. But you want your team to win, I get it.
Especially against the Steelers. If this had been against Tennessee, I probably would be a little more bitter.
Yeah.
But it was against Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
They were going to raise the AFC North banner in our building.
But when you came in after the Tennessee game, you said, "Hey, Shedeur played great and they lost." Perfect.
It was the perfect scenario.
That's what I'm saying.
It was the perfect scenario. But this isn't Tennessee.
Yeah.
This is our rival.
Right.
So that's a layer.
Yeah.
And not just our rival. I didn't know we had 5 of 6 against them.
Right.
We keep that momentum going. And most importantly, out of everything, they didn't get to celebrate an AFC North victory on our dirt.
Yeah, and all of that said, if the Browns had lost, you're not depressed today, I don't think.
No, I'd be less depressed.
Right.
Because, so we're still 3-13.
I think there's a big difference between the way fans and we think about it other than the guys in the locker room. Myles Garrett said it best. He said, listen, man, we playing for each other, man. We play to win these football games. And let me just tell you something. The Cleveland Browns play outside. And let me give you an insight to what happens.
Not for long.
Well, we got to wait to 29. Yeah. Myles Garrett going to play outside for a long time.
Yeah.
So when you play outside, they practicing outside. It's December. It's minus weather. They got to drag themselves out of their beds. Half injured, half hurt. Tell me, you tell Carson Schlesinger, who had to spend 3 hours trying to get treatment to get back and playing, that it ain't worth it. You tell me Harold Fanning Jr., who came out there and scored a pivotal touchdown, and he was already on the report, and he hobbled himself and they had to shut him down. Tell that to Quinshawn Judkins, who right now probably rehabbing. You got a young roster. Shedeur Sanders, hey, look, he didn't play perfect, but tell me how good it feels to get his first Pittsburgh Steelers win. We need to start building something.
Yeah.
I want to start building what the Steelers got. And to build that, you got to build a winning culture to say, guys, this is how you go about it. Make this be a stepping stone. Make this be something that you can get. Mason Graham playing this well against the Steelers. Like I said, you don't think Luke Whippler is saying, hey, listen, I was out there blocking Hayward.
Yeah.
Hey,
we've seen the Browns have beaten them 5 out of 6 before this year, and it hasn't been a stepping stone in any of those games.
So,
for the team.
But
the momentum probably dies here.
Yes.
But it still feels good.
But before, we weren't playing as many rookies. We weren't playing rookies. Our best players are rookies. And so if your best players are rookies, these guys are building something where this is a foundation and core players. If we talk about a core 4 for the Cavs, that core 4 ain't better than this one.
Donovan's a top 10 player.
Hold on. No, what I'm saying is when you look at the young guys, all of them in the rookie, we had to go back and get Donovan Mitchell. We didn't develop Donovan Mitchell. He came already ready.
But that's not what you said. You said one's better than the other.
What I'm saying is they talent for talent? No. What I'm saying is the Cleveland Browns have a little bit of a nucleus here where they got guys that are feeling good about themselves that are going out and to play a team for the last 3 weeks. They played the Bears, who could be a Super Bowl team. They played the Bills, who looked like we all picked them to go to Super Bowl. And they played another team, their division rival, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they came in here and could have just finished us off. There was no reason to play. So what I'm saying is guys have a lot to play for. Guys continue to keep doing it. And I even like I said, I gave the coach credit. You know why? Because it's okay to say, I don't think you might be the long-term answer.
Well, that's coming
but
up next.
I like the energy, though.
But to your point, Batonio was talking about the young guys, the Schlesingers, I know he didn't play, but the Judkins, and how important it is when you're trying to build a culture to win games like this, because you have to start somewhere. The Browns went 1-31. What do they ever have to show for it? Nothing.
Yeah,
nothing. So I get, but I think that this is really nuanced, especially in the NFL, because if you have your quarterback in place, your franchise quarterback, I don't think draft order is as important between 2 and 6. If you think you've got your guy for the next 10 years, 15 years,
squeezing this morning.
But I mean, go back to the Patriots last year, Week 18. They balled out and they won, and they fell from, I forget what it was.
It could have been the number one pick. It could have been the number one pick.
But instead, they played to win the game because they and look where they are now.
Yeah,
they really liked Drake May. They felt they had something in Drake May.
Right.
They felt good about where they were at. They played hard. They won the game. I think they drafted 4th. I don't remember.
They drafted
4th.
Well, the left tackle at LSU, Will Campbell, with the 4th pick.
4th. Okay,
They were after the Giants, before the Browns.
They fell a couple. I see what you're saying.
Had they punted on
they
that
weren't taking
game,
a quarterback anyhow.
Had they punted on that last game, they could have had the number 1 pick or number 2 pick, one of the two. Instead, they said, you know what? We got our guy. We're going to go win the game. When you don't have your guy, when you aren't as sure about your guy, I promise you, there are people in Berea going, well, now what? I'm not saying the entire organization is.
No.
I'm not saying that.
Right.
I'm telling you there are some people over there going, okay, well, now what are we going to do?
Yeah.
Because I've talked to general managers in different sports who said, I was upstairs drinking when we were winning that game because we couldn't win that game. Like, these are conversations, and I'm not saying
That's
that was
funny.
I've talked to NBA guys before who in tanking seasons.
Sure.
That's
by
how
the
they
way,
think.
Jason, we had a lot of arguments in the offseason when the Browns made the trade with the Jaguars, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and you got mad at me every time I said there's no guarantee they're going to be able to get up there.
And what did I say? What is their better alternative? Of course, it's a calculated risk. It's always a calculated risk.
But you made it seem like there was no possibility, and now
they had the 2nd pick in a 1 quarterback draft. What did you want them to do?
So here, let's think
What
about
did you want
this.
them to do?
not trade down.
You want them to stay at 2? You think they made a bad trade?
Time will tell if they made a bad trade.
They did not make a bad trade.
Well,
I don't
time
think they
will
made a bad
tell.
trade either.
No,
They can't say now.
No, they didn't make a bad trade. They
may have
extra
if
2
Mason
and a
Graham's not a
future 1
superstar
to drop 3 spots.
If Mason Graham is not a superstar, it was a bad pick.
Well, that's bad scouting. It doesn't make it a bad trade.
Oh, okay, fine.
I'm serious.
You're right.
You
right.
dropped
okay.
3 spots. You picked up an extra high 2 and a future 1. That's not a bad. That's a phenomenal trade.
Well, here, let me just.
If the picks don't pan out,
if you blow it
then-
on the wrong guys,
yeah.
then that's on
All
scouting.
right, that's fine.
Let me play devil's advocate here. Because here, listen, by your logic, I'm gonna go ask McNuggets this. Now, here's the logic. Now, we all say that if you like a guy and you believe there are a franchise quarterback, and I hate when people say that, but we can go ahead around the roads with this. If they believe one of these guys is a quarterback, no matter who it is in this draft, is this not correct? It doesn't matter where they are, right? If the Cleveland Browns wanted the guy bad enough, would they not trade anything they could to get him?
Absolutely.
Right, but right now the first pick is the Raiders. They're not going to trade that pick. No
Well,
matter
right now
what.
the second pick is the Giants.
Right,
and
that's
they
possible.
would. So yes, we are not at that point. But if they get to their board and they say we have to get Dante Moore no matter what, you trade whatever it takes to go get him.
If you think he's the guy.
If you think he's the guy.
But if you believe that, I would like to fall into Dante Moore naturally without trading, that tells me you don't think Dante Moore is that good.
You know what it tells me? You like him. You're not ready to marry him.
There it is.
And that's what I said.
College girlfriend.
Yes.
And that-
college girlfriend.
And that may
but
be-
do I want to spend the rest of my life with her?
And that may be where they it's December. We have no idea where they're going to land
we
on
don't.
this in March.
And if the Jets end up in the 2 spot, then
It's a
going to
moot
be
point.
quarterback 1, 2.
Unless
Yes,
they
it
don't
will
like
be.
him. The Browns had a
Right,
chance
that's
to draft
true.
Carson Wentz and traded out of it because they didn't like
but
Carson
look at
Wentz.
the guys the Jets have drafted. Like, if there's a quarterback there, they're going to take him.
Odds are, if the Jets are 2, if it's Raiders 1 and Jets 2, odds are it's going to go
gone.
quarterback.
Hey, McNuggets, you think you can come up with some topics about the draft between now and when we have
I bet we do.
I have one right now, G, real quick. I just thought of one as we were talking. Steve, take this full real quick. So at 6, right? Hypothetically at 6, right?
Yeah.
Raiders and Jets taking quarterback. Let's just assume they take quarterbacks.
Mendoza and Moore, gone.
I think we all like Cardinal Tate as a prospect, right?
Yes.
Like
Love
the
him.
Brown.
Yeah.
He ain't making it a 6 in this scenario.
No, I see him top 5.
Titans would
I
take
see
him.
Reese as top 5.
Arvell Reese, Jordan Tyson, and Cardinal Tate has a good chance there. So the second pick, Giants need a receiver. They're taking a receiver if that's
I don't know that the Giants need a receiver.
I think the Giants need a receiver.
First of all, they got Neighbors, who's going to be back next year.
Yeah, but
and Wan'Dale Robinson has turned himself into a heck of a player.
Well, as someone who follows the Giants pretty closely, Bull, you're right. Receiver's not their number one need, but there's not an offensive tackle anywhere near taking.
I'm not convinced the Giants would take a wide receiver there. The Titans very likely would.
The
Cardinals.
Tate's not getting paid.
The Giants will trade that pick. They're not going to stay.
Maybe. If they end up
my point is,
I don't think Tate is falling to 6.
My point is,
the
G, at this
Jets, Cardinals,
point, if
and
you
Browns
fall
belong,
to
they're
6,
trading 2.
Mm-hmm.
you may have actually fallen out of the range for the other targets, not quarterbacks, that you still really like.
Do you want people to get really mad?
No, I'm just listening.
No, I'll tell you this.
Shoot.
I mean, if they at that position, what if the Browns traded back?
That's exactly
That's
what I was
what
going to
they'll
say.
do.
That's exactly what I was going to
Listen,
say.
I predict that's what they'll do. I think yesterday determined that they're more likely to do that than not.
The problem is, I don't know. And again, it's so
It
early.
depends. We're too early. This is
But
silly.
you don't know
It's
what
too
you don't know
early.
what the market is going to be.
No,
who
right.
would want to move up to 6?
Right, we
and
don't.
who?
But what we do know is it's an MO of the Browns to gather picks.
Yeah.
And I'm operating on your 2029
and by
schedule.
the way, don't a lot of
and that makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
But don't a lot of people think that there's 2 great receivers in this draft? They could get the other one. I don't think the Cardinals are going to take a receiver, but it's a long way to go.
Titans and Giants could definitely.
Cardinals missed on their
I'd be
last
surprised
receiver,
if
and
Giants
kills
took
me
him.
to
This
say
is
that.
going to be very interesting. Now, here's where it gets spooky. If the Browns win this game against the Bengals, what are we looking at?
It's actually not going to change much, I don't think. They'd only drop 1 spot.
I think the Browns could only go to 7 as the lowest.
Okay. Well, 7.
Yeah.
7
Because
sucks.
there's a 2 win. The Browns have 4 wins. Washington has 4 wins, and then everyone else has 6.
Right.
So
they can only fall behind Washington.
I know you
spot.
didn't watch the Bengals yesterday,
Yeah.
and I haven't watched them at all except the highlights. I watched
Yeah.
the highlights of both of those games, their last 2 wins, which were impressive.
Yeah.
I don't see a world where we beat Cincinnati.
I mean, a few weeks
Because we're
ago
going
they
to need
played a
30
terrible
points
game.
to do it. I just feel like
Probably. The Browns defense usually plays very well against the Bengals. I expect it to be a close. Now, this myth that the Browns own the Bengals is a myth because the Bengals have won most of the games, I think, in the last 3 years. What's the Bengals' record last 3 years against the Browns, Mike?
Bengals record last 3 years. Hold on.
I think they
It's a
definitely have a winning record.
The
But
NFL
the games are always sloppy and close.
they are.
Joe Burrow has had very few great games against the Browns. Very few.
He struggles against
The
clicking.
NFL
Right now,
is such
they're
a
clicking.
it is such a week-to-week league.
Yeah,
this league never
the
makes
Browns
sense.
could definitely win the game.
Just when you
Jay,
think you got
I
it figured
think
out,
this year
Browns
is
have-
more week to
Browns
week than
have,
ever
it's
before.
wild. It's
the Bills.
wild.
Go ahead, Mike.
What?
This year, the Bengals beat the Browns 17-16.
Right, we know that.
Last year, the Bengals beat the Browns 24-16 in December and 21-14 in
So
October.
there's 3 straight.
Yeah.
It's 4 straight if you go back
4
to
straight,
the
okay.
Week 18 game when Jeff Driscoll started. When they won
I don't even count that one. The narrative is silly. But what is true is that the Bengals offense rarely plays great against the Browns. And that has to do, you could say during Kevin Stefanski, it has to do with Myles Garrett. He is he just owns them. And so I definitely think the Browns could win. I would say because it's in Cincinnati and the Bengals offense is obviously better, I think the Bengals are more likely to win, but I don't think it's by a lot.
You got 2 teams with nothing to play for in Week 18.
Yeah.
And it's impossible to predict what could happen.
Be smart. Don't bet on that
Don't
game.
bet on that game.
Yeah.
No, stay
What
on.
is the line? Is it?
I bet you it's
I haven't
Bengals like
seen
4 or 5.
I haven't seen a line yet.
what
I
I'd
can
say,
look it up
Bull.
real
Bengals
quick.
four and a
Probably
half.
like that.
As of right now, according to
I ain't betting on that
FanDuel, it is
No, be smart.
Yeah, don't do
Keep your
that.
money.
7-point line. The Bengals are
Oh,
favored
wow.
by 7.
Oh, all right.
So
That's
more than I
interesting.
thought. All right.
All right, let's get to our next topic, guys. It's brought to us by Gusto. No one starts a business for the joy of calculating tax withholdings or managing payroll spreadsheets. That's where Gusto comes in to take the stress out of your payroll, benefits, and HR so you can focus on running your business and supporting your team. Gusto is the all-in-one, remote-friendly payroll and HR platform that makes managing your team simple, transparent. Is everyone okay out there?
Well, we thought it was Gusto.
It is Gusto.
Gusto, Gusto,
you had it right
Gusto,
the first
Gusto.
time.
Yeah.
There's no
I think you're
pronunciation on the
speaking
page.
Spanish. Spanish.
Listen, I am an AP
Mucho
Spanish
gusto.
taker.
Mucho gusto.
Mucho gusto. This is the best Gusto read they've ever had.
Love Gusto, baby.
We had
helps you with
Gusto.
all your needs in one place without the hassle or hidden fees. Try Gusto today at gusto.com/LockedOnNFL and get 3 months free when you run your first payroll. That's 3 months free payroll at gusto.com/LockedOnNFL. One more time, that's gusto.com/LockedOnNFL.
We used Gusto when we launched The Athletic. That was the payroll system.
Let's go Gusto,
that's
baby.
what's up.
So, yeah. I
like
a lot of
Gusto.
experience with
Gusto. Make
It
sure you
is
head
Gusto.
over. It's spelled gusto.com.
Yeah.
Pronounce it how you please. Bull.
Yes.
Kevin Stefanski, as we have mentioned a few times, has now beaten the Steelers in 4 straight games. His future has yet to be determined. Do you think what happened yesterday? I know you said it shouldn't, but do you think it will have any impact on his future with the Cleveland Browns?
I mean, with Jimmy Haslam, you never know what goes through his head, so it's possible. Like, you can't. Here's what you can't do. If you're, what I don't want to see is, okay, we'll bring back Stefanski. They get off to a bad start next year, and then you fire him in the middle of the season.
Yeah,
that doesn't benefit anybody.
No.
Right? So you can't. To me, the season's over. It's a good win. The team played hard. Okay, I can't let that change my opinion. If I'm an owner. If I should have decided already, hey, am I moving forward with Kevin Stefanski or not? And to me, this should not change. One win in a lost season, even though I thought it was going to be a lost season, would not change. If he was going to keep him, he should still keep him. If he was going to fire him, he should still fire him. Which, again, with Jimmy, you never know. But I'll say that it doesn't change things.
So for the people who say that this should change things, then if they lose the Bengals next week, you're
Right.
back on. Like this is
Yeah,
the
right.
emotional
Yeah.
weirdness
It's like
that
ping pong.
fans and media do. You can't live and die off every single game, off every single week, and change everything. So,
But with Jimmy, that's the only thing I'm saying, though.
well,
you never know with him.
You never know.
Right,
You
but
just
it
don't know
shouldn't
how these
be
are gonna
that
play.
way.
That's why I said I had people asking me yesterday, "Does this change things?" I'm like, I don't freaking know. The game just ended 45 minutes ago.
Yeah.
How could you possibly know what
Here's
the
what
owner
people are
thinks?
asking you to do. Jump into the head of the worst owner in the NFL who's got a history of making bad decisions.
But I will say, like, clearly he's looking for every reason possible not to fire these guys. Like, that's fact.
He is?
He's come out
wants stability.
He's come out multiple times and said, like, the Deshaun trade set us back. And what did he say to Diana after the Miami game? Like, we showed great fight. Kevin still has these guys. He's looking for, I'm not saying he's going to keep them. He's looking for every opportunity to keep them because I don't think he trusts himself to have to start over again. I don't think he trusts himself to get it right.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust him to get it right either. I'm not saying that you keep him or fire him. I said about 4 weeks ago, I thought he was gone. I still think that knowing Jimmy, 4 wins is not going to be enough. I still think that that's the case. But I told you earlier that I reached out to some guys that I trust that don't cover the Browns, but cover the NFL, and they hear and they know and they talk.
Yeah.
And here's my question. You would be surprised if the Browns blank with Stefanski. Roll it back, move on. You know, those are your choices. And mostly the responses were they would be surprised if he was fired. They would not be as surprised if he was brought back.
See, I don't know.
So now again, they're all 5 trying to do the same thing.
the vibe-
Jump into the head of Jimmy Haslam.
The vibe I was getting a week or two ago was it could be a complete blowout.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought too. I said that 5 weeks ago.
That's why it's impossible. It's impossible to answer this question.
But
right here
would
today.
it shock you if he brought him back?
No.
No, it wouldn't shock.
And I don't think it would shock me either.
The owner could change. The owner could change his mind. That's the thing.
And he's done that.
I mean, this is the thing about the NFL. When you talk about owners, like these are top of the food chain, bro. Like if they wake up tomorrow and be like, you know what, I don't like these jerseys, they get rid of them, bro. That's just is what it is. To me, my gut feeling would be, I think they would bring Andrew Berry back. I don't think they'll bring Stefanski back. But is there a chance that all of them are gone? Sure. Is there a chance that one of them stays, another one? Is there a chance that Stefanski? I think it's small. I think it's a 10%, 20% chance he's back. But could Jimmy Haslam wake up and if the Browns win next week and be emotional and they look great and beat the Burrow and the Steelers, or excuse me, Burrow and the Bengals, Could he get emotional and say, let's make that move? Sure.
Keeping one and firing the other to me is crazy.
I think you're right with
That's
that.
the
I think either
craziest
both
thing.
go or both stay. One of the things that someone pointed out to me is as why it's so hard to kind of forecast this. They said, believe it or not, there's a couple of things that are in the balance that could dramatically impact what Jimmy does. Is Mike Tomlin available?
Would Mike Tomlin take the Browns job?
I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you.
I will answer that the same way I answered the Vrabel question. Mike Tomlin is not taking this job.
There's no way.
Don't
I
think
could
so?
see it.
No chance. Why would he?
He can
ever
get
take
any
that
job he wants. Why
The
would he
other
take
other thing
Browns?
was that was brought up by a different reporter. He said
Brian Flores is very interesting.
Tommy Reese is
That would
looked
be
at-
my number one.
Yeah,
That would be my
That's,
number
I've
one
been saying
guy.
that for
Absolutely.
2 months. I want Brian
Absolutely.
Flores.
Flores would be my number. There's a
interesting.
lot. There's a lot back there, like back channels that they have to work through.
Yeah.
He's interviewed multiple times here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like keep that in mind for multiple different roles.
Why
They've
was
interviewed
he
him for
turned down before? Do you know?
I think.
Because he doesn't put up.
So I think the way that he handled the lawsuit will hurt him in the eyes of other owners.
Yeah.
And the fact that he aired dirty laundry publicly.
Yep.
I don't blame him for doing it.
I don't either.
Good
I don't
on you
blame
for
him
doing it.
but it is outside of protocol.
Burn down the building.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yep.
But it's going to be held against you by the others inside the building. Does that make sense?
Very
That's
much
one. And number two, he's interviewed for head coach here. He's interviewed for DC here. He's passed over multiple times. And the version that my understanding of how it went at head coach, the Browns sort of stepped in and embarrassed themselves. It wasn't anything he did. It's what they did.
Of course.
And I'm not going to go into detail because
Yeah.
I don't have it 100%, but I'm pretty sure I got it. And I don't. But again, what other options is Brian Flores? And again, we're getting too far down the road. Kevin's
He's
still
an
head
ass
coach here.
kicker, and that's what I like.
But,
No, but I do think
what
that-
other options is he going to have to be a head coach again in the NFL? I think it's going to be very limited.
But I do think
Giants.
it's fair to ask because
stop
if you're
that.
going to
You
fire
stop
a
that,
coach,
McNuggets.
you
You
better
stay out
have
the way.
a good alternative. You better
Absolutely.
have something.
Yes, that's the number one
and that's
rule.
why there are good alternatives. But would Mike Tomlin say no definitively? Probably. There would probably be better jobs open than this one. I don't know. Someone pointed out to me, Tommy Reese, even though their offense hasn't lit it up
I've
this
already
year.
said that.
Someone has told me that Tommy Reese is looked at in the NFL as an up-and-comer who someone's going to pluck away and be a good head coach.
I am not reporting this. I don't know this.
Right.
I'm speculating.
Yeah.
Would it surprise you if Jimmy's sitting there thinking, well, we had
No.
Kyle Shanahan here.
Listen,
and
that's
we let
exactly
him
what I was
go.
going to say.
And now if Tommy is 2 or 3 years away from this, then let's just get through the bumps now
And take him.
I
And
hate
let's
that,
not.
but
Yep.
all right.
I'm not saying.
Yeah.
But would it really
That's why I
surprise
went
you?
Tommy
I want
up
a coach
because-
I want a coach with experience, but not an old.
You know what I
dad.
liked yesterday?
He's done
Yeah.
it before with Freddie Kitchens.
Yeah.
Here's
He's done
what I
that.
liked yesterday. I don't know Tommy Reese. I've
Freddie
never
was
interviewed
never-
him.
I know what you're
don't
going
know
to
him.
say.
Hey,
when he
hang
hit
on,
that,
hang
when
on,
he's
hang on.
Slam that table.
When he was
I
mad-
jumped up and I said, "There it is!"
Hang on.
It's not. I like Tommy Reese.
I like that.
Is intelligent.
I saw
dog.
that. I saw that. I saw
I need
that
that.
too.
Hang on. Freddie is only a prodigy in drinking.
Yeah.
That's it.
Allegedly, I don't know, but no.
No, but Tommy Reese showed some real fire. He was upset
He was-
over a
he
pre-snap
was-
penalty, a
he was-
misalignment.
So let Brian.
It cost him a timeout.
If they
Never seen
hire
Stefanski
Brian
get that
Flores
angry
as the
over
head
anything.
coach, if he and Tommy Reese can get along, let Tommy Reese run the offense and let's go.
You got to let Flores pick his own staff. Whoever it
Absolutely,
is.
but maybe they
Yeah.
would connect.
I
whatever.
don't know.
You
We're
have
along-
to let him pick his
we're
own
Is
staff.
Jim
Yeah.
Schwartz a viable option?
Not if Flores is the head coach.
No.
No, but I'm just talking
To be
about
the head
as a head
coach.
coach.
Oh, to be the head coach?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who
You don't
knows?
know?
he'll get an interview.
All right, here's something with Stefanski yesterday that I had a beef with. Nobody else is talking about this because it's really.
I think you're kind of nuts for
My
this.
only hope was you, Jason.
I think
so
you're
now
It remains your only hope.
But go ahead.
Okay. So the Browns on their last drive when they kicked that field goal after the Steelers went for it on fourth down.
Yeah.
The Browns were at the what? Can you give me the exact down and distance, Mike? I think it was 4th and 5 at the Steelers 15.
I will pull it up for you right now. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Keep going. That's roughly where they were.
Yeah.
Okay. So if
By the way, they put
Well,
up
they
on the
were
screen,
officially-
analytics said that you kick here.
It was 4th and 5 at the 14.
Okay.
I would have not kicked the field goal. I would have gone for it there, and here's why. First of all, you're not playing for anything. I know you want to win, but like if you lose, it's not the end of the world.
Right.
But if I get the first down, obviously the game is over. Take a knee, game over. Even if I don't get it, the Steelers have no timeouts. There's less than 2 minutes, and now they have to go what I assumed would be at least 10, if not 15 yards. It turned out to be, I think, 15 yards. They got an extra 15 yards. Now, the Steelers, if they score a touchdown,
You win the game.
Would have won the game if it's only 4.
Yeah.
They might. I think they're going to go for 2 in this case. Now, in this case, they'd have to go for 2 to win it. So you don't have to go. But I like the chances of winning the game on that 4th down, even if you don't get it, them having less. If they had less time, I don't even think they get in the red zone in that case.
Yeah,
because they were running out of time.
Yeah, no, if they pick up the first down, the game's over.
Right.
But, and I know what you're saying, put your foot on their throat.
Yes.
If it was 4th and 1 Bull, I would have considered that.
We ain't had no
but
Then it's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer. But
Yeah.
here's what Kevin Stefanski's math looked like. They've scored 2 field goals against this defense all day.
Right.
They need a touchdown that's going to look like a 80-yard touchdown. Now, they almost pulled it off. But in the end, Kevin bet on his defense, and he won with that.
In that instance, 3 points is way more valuable than 15 yards.
I agree with
you
that.
You put yourself up a full touchdown.
Yep.
They have to score a touchdown either way. The only difference is
but a touchdown beats you.
But who cares in the end?
Well,
I do.
That matters because if they
win.
score a touchdown to get it to overtime, now you're
You still
asking
have
for Pittsburgh to put back-to-back scoring drives together
Yeah.
when they've only scored 6 points all day.
I think you're saying he relied on the defense. I'm saying he didn't trust the defense enough.
The Browns,
because he should have. He's like, they're not going to score a touchdown. So what's the difference?
But the safe bet, he hedged his bet with the extra 3 points.
The other side of this is the Browns' offense did absolutely nothing over the last 3
None.
quarters.
Yeah,
Zero.
correct.
So you
What
think they're going to
4th and
get
5 play did they have?
They
picking
weren't
up 5
scoring
yards on
anything.
4th down.
I don't think the Steelers would have gotten into the red zone if they had to go 15 more yards.
It's only 15 yards. They got down the field like that.
Like 5
They
seconds.
were almost out of time, Jason.
It doesn't matter. They had to throw. They had 3 throws into the end zone to win
the
tie
game?
the
Yeah.
game.
Right, they
Under
wouldn't have had
your
3.
scenario.
They
Yeah,
wouldn't
would
have had 3.
They still would have been in the end zone. They still would have had 3 throws to the end zone.
They would have been further
It was
away.
15
We'll never
yards.
know.
Oh,
that
Lord.
first 15 yards is harder when
Oh,
you back
you're
up your own
miserable.
15.
Even when they
Great
win, you're still
job, Kevin Stefanski, by taking a point and not listening to that. Boy, listen,
Yeah.
you got a rookie
I
quarterback,
think
no
outside the box,
playmakers.
baby.
None.
No
Hey,
playmakers.
And you do have to take into account what you had done that
By the
half
way,
with the football. How many
let's
yards
state-
did they have in the second half?
Let's state for the record, none. Let's state for the record that I have more confidence in Shedeur Sanders than G. Bush. That's a fact. That 100% fact right there.
No,
You can't-
because he's
no, that's 100% fact.
No,
That's a fact.
I drink Kool-Aid, but I ain't stupid.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
in that spot, asking him to pick up a 4th and
The
5.
Steelers hadn't moved the ball all day. What's
Neither
the
did the
difference?
Browns.
The Browns didn't move it all.
Second, third, fourth.
The Browns only have to move it for one play. The Steelers have to go down the field. The
Nah.
only reason the Steelers went down the field is because the Browns stopped playing defense.
It doesn't matter. They went down the field. They did
They
exactly
did.
what they're
They went
supposed
down
to
the
do.
field.
They
And
had 3
Maybe
throws
they
in
would
the
have
end
played
zone.
tougher defense
Let's-
if they were only down 4.
What's the narrative this morning?
Yeah.
If on 4th and 5,
Oh, my God.
Shedeur throws an incompletion.
Oh my
Yeah.
God!
And they
Pittsburgh
lost.
goes down the field
Yeah.
and scores a
And
touchdown.
Kev
Then it's
wins the
Shedeur's
game.
loss.
Kev, they
You're
trying
right.
to.
No, then it's Kevin's
And that-
loss.
It's
Kev-
Kevin's loss, but Kevin saved Shedeur
But you know
from
what?
a lot of that mess.
But you know what? That's exactly why Kevin should be fired, because he was gutless. I wouldn't have
Oh,
cared.
Lord.
If I were the coach, I wouldn't have cared what people said.
It's always
If
easy.
I were a coach, I'd ignore the media. It would be
Hey,
meaningless
Bull,
to me.
this might be one of your worst ones ever.
Yeah, this is not a good one.
I'm an
wild.
outside-the-box thinker.
This is
You
wild.
guys
are.
are not.
I don't think. Did they
I don't
convert
tell
a
you.
fourth? Mike, did they convert a 4th down yesterday? The Browns.
The Browns, I can tell you if I go to
they
team
even try?
stats.
Because
let's see.
I don't think that they did. But prior to
No, they were 0 for 1 on 4th, and the Steelers were 0 for 3.
they haven't converted a 4th down with Shedeur on the field all year. You want them to convert that one? in
Yeah,
that
that's a
instance?
lot. 4th and
No.
5, especially because the field goal gives you a safe
I'm telling you,
touchdown.
if the
lead.
Browns had played defense like they had the rest of the game, which they decided to play prevent at the end, which is lame,
That's what teams do.
then
I
they
hate
shouldn't.
it too.
When-
They
I,
shouldn't.
listen, I agree with
When
you,
the-
but
Then
I,
it wouldn't have mattered. The Steelers couldn't move the ball until that drive because they backed off.
When the Steelers were going down the field, I said, "Oh my God, it's the Vikings all over again." Here we go.
Felt like it.
Here we go.
the
They
Steelers,
need
I
one
think, would have.
stop.
Do you think the
Felt
Steelers
like
would have gone for 2 if they'd scored the
No.
touchdown?
I don't
No.
know. I was thinking about that.
I
When
don't
they were
think
on
they
the
would have.
7.
I think
And
they
then-
would.
I
and
think
then- and
because
then
I think Mike Tomlin would have been saying the same thing. This Browns offense has done nothing.
Yeah.
And we're going to continue
Yeah, but
to make
neither
sure
had
they
their
do
offense.
nothing. I know, but they're coming off a touchdown drive of 85
I know, but that's
yards.
just because the Browns played stupid defense on that drive.
Well, they did, but that's
ridiculous.
what teams do.
It's Aaron Rodgers versus Shedeur Sanders, a rookie
No
with
faith.
a terrible line and no weapons. I'm going to take my guesses and say that we're going to kick this field goal and make them score.
Hey, the
2
Saints
points
had no
versus-
weapons,
I
and Tyler
agree.
Shuck scored 40 points yesterday, and they had nothing. They had like 7 guys on the offense injured. Show some faith, G.
They've won
in
4 in a
Shedeur
row,
Sanders.
haven't they?
Show some
The
faith
Saints.
like I
Kevin-
do.
Kevin?
Mike, I want that headline to say Adam Bull has more faith in Shedeur Sanders than
Lord.
G.
Boy.
Bush. Mark it down. Please have that as the title.
Kevin, I'm glad you didn't fall into that trap. He's trying to set you up for your next job.
By the way, it is patently absurd that Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski would keep their jobs. They're both terrible at their jobs, and this is absurd. This is ridiculous, and Jimmy Haslam
so they're both fired
is an
for you.
idiot if he keeps them.
Oh, wow. Idiot.
And I would actually make a slight argument, even though I don't like him anymore, that Kevin Stefanski is better at his job than Andrew Berry. But there's no way I keep either of them. They're both terrible, and you can't just look at 1 year. You look at a body of work, and the body of work is terrible. The team is worse now than they were 6 years ago.
We've heard general managers say this before.
Yeah.
We've talked about it on the program, about how there's a learning curve to the draft. And my fear would be, and I know you're not supposed to live in this fear, but what if Andrew Berry has figured out the draft? What if he has? I think there's something inside me that says, I want to see him prove it again. I want to see him do that again. And if he does, and you keep him, you know that you've got your next general manager for a long time. Two drafts in a row.
Does anybody think Mason Graham was worth the 5th pick in the draft?
It's hard.
I'm asking an opinion.
It's hard.
If you had to say right now, is he worth the fifth pick in the draft?
It's hard for me to justify right now. I think he could be a very good player.
Agreed.
And G has told me, and I agree with this because I've heard other defensive linemen say it, there's a big learning curve at that position.
Listen, he's a nice player, but let's keep it real. G. Bush knows 100% certain he is not worth the 5th pick in the draft. You know that. You know it too well.
It's too early.
You know it. Come on, stop it. We know these things.
Now, hold on. Watch this.
You know it. G. Bush knows it.
Now,
good
what-
player.
Did you say Hunter's a
Good
bust
player.
already?
No.
Wouldn't
Too early.
Wait. Wait. What?
Why is it
Yes.
too early for the second
He's
pick?
barely played. He was hurt all season.
He's played enough for us to know who he is.
No, he has not.
Oh, but Mason, I'm confused.
And I'm the
Help me,
guy.
Jay.
I'm the
Yeah.
guy who said I would quit.
Yes.
If Mason Graham got drafted.
You think he's gonna be a superstar?
So listen, bro, you can't call that out yet.
I'm asking your opinion. We're making opinions.
What I'm telling you, my opinion is I cannot prognosticate. It's like saying is Shedeur Sanders going to be a top 15 quarterback?
Yeah. Well, you've already decided he is.
No, I have not.
It
What are you
seems like
talking
you
about?
have.
I said, can he be a starting quarterback? Yes.
Okay.
I didn't say top 15.
I'm asking you a question. Do you think Mason Graham's going to be a superstar?
I think
if you had to bet right now.
I think Mason Graham has some good traits. I think he needs to get stronger. I think he's had some nice spots, some bad spots. But to say that if I'm going to know he's going to live up to the 5th pick, it is too early to judge a rookie.
We all understand it's too early on all these guys. I'm asking your opinion.
My opinion is,
You don't know.
Can your
That's
opinion be
fair.
I don't know?
All right.
But you're saying it's not too early. You're definitively saying you know.
That's unfair. I'll say
Okay.
I'm saying if I had to bet, I would bet he's not going
So,
to.
okay.
And that's fair if you had
That's
to
what I'm
pick
saying. Okay.
a side.
Yes, you don't
phrase
know
it
for
that
certain.
way.
You
Yeah,
don't know for certain.
And you know what?
It's too
not
early
fair
to know
for
for
me
certain.
to say Hunter's a bust. We don't know that
Well,
yet.
the only reason I'm saying that is because you're making it seem like, well, they nailed it in this draft. Well, if Mason Graham's a good player and not a star, they didn't nail it in the draft.
Well,
you got the 5th pick, you got to get a superstar.
But I still think with everything else that they got in this draft, I think this draft is a
It's
thumbs up
They
draft.
have
It's
3
too
rookies that are
early to
Pro Bowl
tell.
alternates.
I know they are.
3.
I mean, that's unheard of.
No one's getting Pro Bowl alternates as rookies.
That's good. That's a good draft class.
Listen, here's what we know about the draft class. Let's keep it real.
Okay.
Okay? Schlesinger looks like he's going to be a superstar.
Defensive rookie of the year.
Okay, great.
Yeah, he is.
Looks
Give him a trophy.
that looks like a big hit.
Smash
Harold
rookie tackle
Fannin
record.
looks like a massive hit.
Rookie
Yes.
record,
At
rookie
the very-
touchdowns.
for the Browns.
For the Browns,
yeah.
tight end record and receiving record as a tight end 3rd round pick.
Yeah.
As a 3rd round pick, that is a home run.
He's tremendous. Now, Judkins, who I like a lot, we don't know yet how good he is.
I think
He
Judkins
wasn't
is
that good as a rookie.
I mean, he's a Pro Bowl
He
alternate.
started great.
Stop, G. Tyler Huntley was a Pro Bowler. Let's stop.
I mean, but he's a rookie, man. Like he's a rookie. Like he's a rookie with one.
no.
One of the
I'm
one.
not- you-
What about the offensive line? What are you talking about here?
G,
it's
G,
the
G.
worst in the league.
You're missing the point.
I'm not.
I like Quinshon Judkins. I'm just saying we don't know yet about him.
He's a ball player.
But is he going to be good or is he going to be great?
He was
I
good
don't know
this
yet.
year.
He was okay.
I don't know. I don't know what the bar for good and great it is anymore.
You think he's worthy of being a Pro Bowler? That's ridiculous.
Here's what I'm going to tell you.
An alternate. They take 17 running backs.
I'm
as
just
alternates.
saying, it's a lot of rookies who ain't going to be no alternates. Here's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Quinshon Judkins, if you go back and watch the film, I'll base it on this.
Yeah.
He gets hit more than anybody
Agreed.
behind the backfield.
But didn't you and Tyvus say that there was the game where you were like, I don't know?
He's a rookie. He's going to miss some holes.
Okay, the rookie thing with running back is silly.
I mean,
the rookie thing with running backs hit the ground running. You know that.
is he one of their best? Is he one of their best players? Judkins.
I think I think he can be.
He's automatic. He's been one of their best.
He's one of their best players because there's not a lot to pick from.
Hey man, listen. I'm gonna just tell you what it is. I don't know if we can eliminate.
Did he have a great season as a rookie? He did not. He did not. That's a fact.
Yeah,
it's not a fact. You can't.
Had a good season.
I'll say this: there were two different Judkins.
Yeah.
The one we saw. Now remember, he missed training camp.
I think he wore down.
I think he wore down too. His last 4 games were way below average.
I'm not killing Judkins. I actually think he has potential.
Yeah.
I think can be a great running back.
So
but we don't know that yet.
No, I know
we don't know that.
But if we had to, if at this point in the season, if we had to put guys into the category of hit or miss, and I know that the bar is different for Mason because he was the 5th overall pick. But if you had to say, and you also then can do that for Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders is the 5th round pick. You'd have to say at this point was a
Well, if
hit.
I'm going to say Shedeur's a hit, then Mason Graham's got to be a miss to me.
If we're
factoring in the rounds.
There's no question on Fannin. There's no question on Schlesinger. And I don't think there's much question on Judkins.
The only question on Judkins is he going to be a good NFL back or is he going to be a star NFL back? And by the way, they drafted him in the 2nd round. Even if he's a good NFL back, that's okay. I mean, that's not bad.
Yeah.
But I think he can be a star, but we can't say based on this year that he's a star. That's all I'm saying.
All I'm going to, listen, I didn't say star. I just said, listen, that's a hit. He was one of your best players. He is one of your best offensive weapons. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He did a lot of things. And
he just didn't have that good a year.
I'm just saying.
The last
there's
4 games
reasons
were
for it.
really trouble.
He didn't have that good a year.
But I think that we're discounting. We got to 68 yet? Maybe that can tie in because, this offensive line is just
We're
not
going there
good.
next.
They've been banged
we're
up.
all factoring that in.
What I'm saying is,
he averaged less than 3 yards per carry. I can't say he had a great season.
Listen,
you can't tell me he had a great season when he averaged less than 3 yards per carry.
I can go back and give you what James Cook. James Cook has 400, 500, 600 yards almost before contact. Guess how many Judkins has? 43. 43 yards before he's contacted.
We're having 2 separate arguments.
That's not the argument. The argument is if you're getting hit, you have 43 yards all year before you get contacted. So, that means what you're doing. See, here's what we get twisted. When Nick Chubb was grinding and cooking, Nick Chubb was, if you take a look at his scores, he made the first guy miss. He was yards after contact. He did a lot with some stuff. They had a good offensive line, but a good running back, a stud running back will give you plays that you didn't even see. Go back and watch the film.
Are you comparing him to Nick Chubb?
What I'm comparing.
He's nowhere close to Nick Chubb in year 1.
What I'm comparing you is I'm saying good running backs is going to make guys miss. He's getting a lot of times when you watch that field.
Nobody's debating that with you.
But I'm just saying.
I'm saying he didn't have a great season. Obviously, it wasn't completely his fault. Are you saying he had a great season?
I think for a rookie, he had a really good season.
He had 1,000 total yards.
He had 1,000 total yards.
How many games?
And
what? You're saying he had a great season?
No, not great. I'd say he had a good season.
You just said he had a great season.
There were games against there were games where we had to just give him the ball, and that's all we had.
If the Saints got 100 yards from Audric Estime, did he have a great? I mean, was he great? Come on.
I mean,
he didn't have a great season. We got to figure out what the hell great means.
Listen,
we're gonna have nothing to live up to.
Here's what I'm saying. Listen, am I putting him in the Hall of Fame? No, but. Here's what I'm going to say. The league said he had a great year. He made a rookie team as a Pro Bowler as a rookie.
He didn't make a Pro Bowl.
Listen, he was an alternate. There you go.
Well, he's not a Pro Bowler.
I mean, he's an alternate. Listen, there's a lot of backs.
That's like saying, Kevin Stefanski's a great coach because he won 2 Coach of the Years.
Hey, listen, he's been here 6 years. If he did it, listen.
2 Coach of the Years. I discount that.
Did he win Coach of the Year his first year?
This is insane. To argue that Quinshon Judkins had a great year when he averaged 2.7 yards per carry is nuts.
Why are you basing on yards per carry? You ain't watching?
Give any stat. Yes, and I've said 13 times, I like him. I think he's good. Clearly, all these numbers are not his fault.
I think that's a hit, right?
I'm
just saying it's a hit.
This conversation was a global conversation about the
it's a
draft
hit.
class.
Yes.
And
I think it will be a hit,
class,
is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think Judkins will be a hit. We don't know for sure
and
yet.
I think in general, if we're grading draft classes just as thumbs up or thumbs down, and I know that's extremely black and white.
Yes.
But this is a thumbs up by any stretch.
Agreed. Nobody disagrees.
And so what I said.
But his other 5 drafts are all thumbs down.
They were. So here's what I said about that. And I think this is why we went down this road. There is a part of me that after I've seen a guy kind of figure it out, because there is a learning curve at the draft, I kind of feel like let's go into another draft without the guru here to get involved and potentially screw things up. There is a large part of me that says, let's see if last year was a fluke.
Yeah.
If he builds on it and puts 2 good draft classes.
The interesting, though, is it's clearly a fluke because he's terrible at his job. We've seen that for 5 years.
A guy can't get better at his job?
Of course he can, but all of a sudden, what? All of a sudden, in year 6, he figured it all out? Has he figured it out at quarterback? Has he figured it out? We don't have a single offensive lineman on this team, Jay.
I get that. Listen, I get that.
They have no receivers. They paid all that money to Jerry Jeudy.
Listen, that goes back to the decision to bring Deshaun Watson here. We've always said that's the elephant in the room.
The idea of keeping Andrew Berry to me is insane. It's insane.
I think you should get used to insanity then.
No, and we can. I think this would parlay right into the next topic. It's not the title of the job isn't draft guy. It's general manager of the entire roster.
It's roster construction.
It's terrible.
And to me, if you're going to give everybody, if Jimmy's going to give either everybody gets a pass for Deshaun or they don't.
That's
it's
the
one
tough
or the
thing
other.
to figure out.
And somebody had to be the first one to bring his name up. And I've reported for years, Andrew was doing the work on Deshaun in Philly. And the Deshaun trade wrecked the organization. How do you keep the guy that burned down the organization and fire the guy who couldn't put out the flames?
So
that makes no sense to me.
But that's to make a definitive statement as if it was Andrew Berry alone.
Well, somebody's got to take the fall for
when Jimmy
Deshaun.
came out, Jimmy did. Jimmy came out and said it's my fault.
Well, no, they're basically making Kevin the scapegoat for Deshaun.
If they fire
the entire reason that the roster and this team is in the state that it's in is because of the Deshaun trade. Period.
100%.
There's no rebuttal.
I don't think anyone argues that. But if the owner himself is saying that was on me,
he's the general manager. His name's on the trade.
I know, but you know it as well as I do.
Somebody had to come up with the idea.
The owner is higher up the ladder than the general manager.
Jimmy may have been the last one to say no. We keep going until he says yes. But somebody had to come up with the idea first in the room, and I don't think that was Jimmy.
Either you believe him or you don't. If the owner say it was me, are you going to say no? You don't mean that.
Jimmy at the end. No, I just said Jimmy at the end was the one that said we don't turn back now. We keep going until we get him.
Yeah.
Somebody came up with the idea though. But it also goes back to they completely ignored the offensive line.
Because we got to do 2 more reads for that show. Do a read, and I'll let you continue that because we're talking Cam Robinson, which has to get in there right now. The Monsters are the best entertainment in the land. Great promotion, affordable tickets. Cleveland Monsters Hockey is the perfect outing for any family with reoccurring games like 1, 2, 3 Fridays, Monster Family Days, Blue Jackets games, and giveaway nights. There's something for everyone at Rocket Arena when the goal horn sounds. This time, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman Night, presented by GE Lightning with the Cleveland Monsters. Celebrate Superman tomorrow, December 30th at 6:30 p.m. with Monsters Hockey as they take the ice in Clark Kent. Warm-ups and Superman-inspired game jerseys. The first 2,500 kids, 14 and under, get a Superman cape. Tickets are on sale now, so fly on over to clevelandmonsters.com. Cam Robinson got a lot of hate in the Super Chats yesterday, and we're at that point because, Jason, the point you were making. Continue.
So, Mike, what was the topic on Cam? Was it a mistake, or do you ding Barry for trading for him?
Yes.
Okay, well, it wasn't that they traded for Cam. There's nobody out there. Like, you're not going to get a left tackle in the middle of the season, or a right tackle for that matter. Anybody who's any good is not available.
Yeah, you're not upgrading that
So
position.
you're triage, you're wrapping the head wound at that point. It's triage. The mistake came in the offseason when they didn't do anything to address the issue, when they knew what a glaring need it was going to be. When you're counting on DeJuan Jones and Jack Conklin, 2 dudes that haven't stayed healthy ever, when you're counting on them to be your tackles and you don't address the position, that's where the blame lies, not the fact that they brought – Cam was the best they could do. Now he's awful. He's terrible. No one's going to say he's any good. But they were trying to – I mean, again, you're choosing between a gunshot wound and a stab wound. Which one do you want? You got to pick one of them. You got to get somebody. They went and got Cam. That's not where the problem was. The problem was you're never going to fill all your holes in one offseason. But to completely ignore the tackle spot and, frankly, the guard spot as well in that draft – and I mean, they did sign Tevin Jenkins in free agency.
Jay, as much as I am advocating
that is
for the
dereliction
draft,
of duty that they didn't address the tackle
and
spot.
I'll throw something else in there. Wide receiver. We went through a draft. We drafted 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah, but we're talking about the line now.
But I know we are, but like it's still roster construction.
Yes.
Horrible.
And the fact that the line was not addressed, as much as I love this draft, what were our 2 biggest needs going into the draft? And we didn't address either one, yet we drafted 2 running backs and 2 quarterbacks.
Well, quarterback was a pretty big need going into the draft.
It was.
Yeah, but he didn't draft any until the 3rd round, and he sucks.
The ledger speaks for itself. And I'm going to tell you this. G. Bush, keep it real. I'm going to keep it a buck. I've been pounding on the concrete for 3 years about the O-line. Go back and rewind the tape.
And wide receiver.
And wide receiver.
We all have.
So he don't get no pass for that. Like, Jed Wills was a bust. That is a top 10 pick you missed on. That is a bust. And when you don't get a guy to the next move, right? And you don't get when you draft somebody in the first round and he don't get a second contract, that hurts you, bro.
He's hurt. I'm not saying he was a great player.
No, I'm just saying.
But he's hurt.
That's why he's not playing.
But it was top 10. It's a bust.
He's a bust.
Yeah.
Receivers,
From where he was taken,
the Anthony Shorts, the David Bells of the world, all of the guys.
Gave him a second-round pick for Elijah Moore.
That didn't work. You gonna get L's for those. You gonna have to hold them L's. Like, so for me, no, he don't get no pass for them. I've been talking about the offensive line from get-go. We just now seen a Zach Zenner emergence. He's been a healthy scratch all year. So he don't get no credit for that. So if you want to look at his resume, part of what his resume is, you got this year where he does got some hits, and I think it was a really nice class. But also, you can't run from the fact that, guess what? You do got some misses up front. And the offensive line is terrible right now. Now, Jason did say, which is correct, that you can't fix it all in one offseason. So guess what? You're going to have the he will be judged if he is staying, and that's up to Jimmy Haslam. If he's staying, he will be judged not on this class. He's going to be judged on this upcoming class.
Oh, it's a make or break.
And let me tell you something.
100%.
He's not only going to have to hit. He hit on these ones. He's going to have to hit on these ones. And he's going to have massive jumps in terms of the guys who we drafted last year to be impact. Because I already done told you, if they do keep him, there is going to be a limit on wins. If he is staying, he's the last guy. He outlived everybody. He outlived Deshaun Watson, D. Podesta, Stefanski, Alex Van Pelt, all the coordinators. He'll be the last one standing. If you thought they got 4 or 5 wins this year and it wasn't good enough, he's going to have to get 7, 8 wins next year.
Jay, you
7, 8.
properly pointed out earlier that Jimmy may not trust himself.
I don't think he does.
To go out and replace Kevin Stefanski with someone better. The same thing can be said as general manager.
100%.
Do we really want to bring in a general manager to draft for the first time ever next year?
Brand new and a new coach? I'm cool.
I'm not ready for that.
And by the way,
So you'd rather keep a guy whose track record in 6 years is terrible.
Who's trending up? That's
Which-
the old
which
like
is-
bull. If this year's class was a flop, get him out of here.
Jay.
But I don't trust Jimmy to bring in who's he going to bring in? A first-time GM.
Why does that have to be a first-time GM?
Because that's what he does.
I mean,
Who has he ever brought in that's had experience? He's got to
Dorsey.
be the alpha.
Dorsey.
He brought it, yeah.
Okay, well, how long did that last? Dorsey flexed his muscle and his ass was out of here too.
The best
Dorsey.
players on the team are still the guys Dorsey
Jimmy's
drafted.
got to be the alpha.
Although Dorsey blew it by drafting Baker.
I don't think that's true, actually. I think Jimmy is so desperate at this point.
You think he's ready to check the ego?
Yeah.
I hope so.
I do.
That's
But
our only
the
hope,
problem
guys.
is the reputation. Like, it's only 1 of 32. You're going to find somebody. Somebody's going to take this job.
They always will.
And it just because somebody's your first choice doesn't mean it was the right choice. But I just think the top candidates, and again, that doesn't mean that they're going to be the right guys, but the top candidates don't want anything to do with this organization.
agree with that.
Here's the major chess piece. If Jimmy Haslam, and we don't know this, if Jimmy Haslam believes that Shedeur Sanders is his quarterback for next year, that means by default, Andrew Berry is already back.
I don't agree with that. I mean, you might be right. I don't think that should be.
I'm just going back. I'm just
Yeah.
going back. I'm just showing you. If he feels like, if you think about it, if he feels like, because we're speculating on whether Shedeur did enough, whether we saw enough. If Jimmy Haslam believes that he has enough and he's seen enough, that means Andrew Berry has the running back of the future, the tight end who's a playmaker, who has a defensive rookie year, and potentially found a quarterback that Jimmy Haslam likes. Then it's all that we talking about nothing here.
To this point,
Yeah, I agree with that, G.
to this point, in 6 years, he has not added one single quarterback, quarterback, wide receiver, or offensive lineman to this roster that
Amari Cooper had some success.
that wasn't already a proven player.
Yeah.
Like, we already knew Amari Cooper was good, right? He is not.
That was one of his better trades.
They have not done. I mean, the offensive line when he took over, the offensive line was good.
It was great.
Now it's terrible.
Awful.
All right. Everything. The team is worse, way worse than when he took over.
That's a fact.
So,
Well, I don't think you can argue
He
that.
gets a thumbs up for this draft. Now, how high the thumbs up is, we'll have to see. Depends how good Mason Graham is. Depends how good Judkins is. Okay?
Yeah.
And it may turn out to be a great draft, but ultimately, the most important positions, quarterback, wide receiver, left tackle, defensive end. No, if Shedeur pans out, then okay. But if he doesn't, and you settle none of those most important things with this big win draft.
Now, we'll give him Alex Wright. I think Alex Wright was a hit in the 3rd round.
No, but I was saying on offense.
Well, okay, yeah. I think
So the offensive line and the roster construction is an issue. Now, granted, he was handcuffed with no first-round picks. He lost 6 picks just to get Deshaun Watson, value picks.
Yep.
But again, we don't really know how to distribute blame because I don't know that he was driving the bus. You're right. Someone had to come up with the idea. I hope someone writes the book one day. I hope it's you, Jay. I want the autopsy.
have no more books in me.
I want the autopsy on what in the hell
if we're going to play
happened.
the speculation game and say, well, I don't know if he's to blame, then I'm not giving him credit for this draft.
You can't. Well, no, I give him credit for this draft.
Why would he get credit for this draft and get no blame for
Well,
the
I've
other?
said
Because
before,
DePodesta's
I've
gone.
been pretty
Well,
on.
DePodesta was here for the draft.
He was here, but I've been pretty much on record as saying, and I hope we can track this down legitimately. And there's one person within the organization that I have hopes of confirming what I'm about to say. I've said it on this show before. I think this year was a bit of an experiment for the Browns. And I think that DePodesta was somewhat neutered in terms of a voice in the draft room coming into this year. And I hope we can prove that and find that out from someone within that was inside the organization at the time. I think Paul saw the writing on the wall, particularly when this draft class was a good one and he had less input.
Yeah, but how would you know, Jay, that he had less input this year? You can't back that up with any facts.
Because if he had the input, he's
Well, you're right. I
Yeah.
can't. I hope to be able to do that soon.
Okay.
So I think you know who I'm talking about.
If I knew for a fact that Andrew Berry had no say before this year.
No. I'm not saying he had no say. I'm saying that I think the loudest voice in the room used to be Paul DePodesta. I think that changed this year. Jimmy will know if that's true.
I don't personally buy that. If I knew that was true, then it would change my opinion, certainly.
Right.
But I'm not buying that.
I
I'm
can't-
not
I can't-
buying
Well,
that.
it just seems odd that when they get the draft right, DePodesta leaves.
That's the thing.
He had been trying to leave for a while.
Because I think he saw the writing on the wall. And I'm not going to say he got neutered. I'm just thinking that even if it was the equal voice of Andrew Berry and DePodesta, I think DePodesta was the loudest voice in the world in the room for the draft. I think he was the chief strategy officer. He's the guy. And I do think this year there was a change in the pecking order. And when the draft was a hit, DePodesta said, I better get while I can. And he ran.
Do you buy that at all?
I think that his power was actually sapped before this year.
Possible. Possible.
I think it was a couple years that he has not been very powerful in that organization.
Possible.
The one thing we understand is that it's whoever has the king's ear. You know, it's what have you done late for me? Kevin Stefanski lasted a long time because he was coach of the year twice. He lasted more than anybody because he had the cachet. DePodesta was here. He outlasted Dorsey. Then Dorsey came in. He made the wrong decision. Then AB, listen, it's what have you done for me lately? And right now, for better or worse, if you look at the track record, and I'm going to do it and say, I don't really want to start all the way over. I'm going to look who did me the best job and what I got. I got one dude right here who did look like he got some players and made a hit, but I also have a coach right here that's in charge of the offense that has not been very good for 2 years, and I'm just figuring out what I need to do. If you don't want to start all the way over, then you say, what have you done for me lately? You go with the guy who done made the decent picks. And by the way, that's not for long. It's not like if they bring Andrew Berry back, he can't get Shadow Realm next year.
If you make decisions based on what have you done for me lately, I think that's a losing philosophy.
Well, that's the NFL.
It absolutely is.
That is the NFL.
And that's why I think I talked about this last week, because I've had a lot of conversations about ownership in different sports, and the one thing that keeps coming back over and over is good owners are there when you need them the most, and they're in the weeds when everything's going well.
Yeah.
You're behind the curtain when it's going well, and when it's hitting the fan, good owners are there when you need them the most, and good owners hang in there. And I'm not saying one way or the other on this instance. I'm speaking in general terms. When you believe in who you have, even when every fan and every media member is screaming, he's got to go, he's got to go, the good owners have the guts and the discipline to hang in there and say, we have the right people, we've made mistakes, it's going to be okay. What did Miami do when LeBron left? Nothing.
Yeah.
They changed nothing. What did San Antonio do when all those guys retired? Nothing. They changed nothing. Good organizations stay the course.
Yeah.
And they fight through the bad. Now, again, I'm not saying this
There are
applies
bad
to Kevin
organizations
Andrews.
that stay the course too. The Bengals, the Cowboys, they
Well,
stay the
when the
course.
Bengals finally decided to stay the course, because they were us, they were wash, rinse, repeat, fire, hire, fire, hire. I was fascinated looking from a distance that Marvin Lewis was finally let go because he couldn't win in the playoffs. They stuck with him. He got them to the playoffs a
but
lot.
they stuck with him way too long, and they've stuck with Zach Taylor way too long.
Ultimately, you could be right. But again, if you're going to stick with someone for that long, and I gave the Bengals a lot of credit. That's not Mike Brown's way. They decided that, you know what? Yeah, we're losing in the first round of the playoffs, but we're in the playoffs, and compared to the neighborhood we've normally lived in, that's pretty good.
I think if you look at it, would you agree that Jimmy Haslam has been more patient as he's on the team?
100%.
Yes.
Sure.
Yep.
I've made that. He extended Hugh after 1-31. Like, he had the reputation early on of firing guys, and Chud lasted a year and out. They don't want to fight. That's why I said earlier, they're looking for every reason not to fire people because they know what their reputation is.
Yeah.
They've tried really hard to change it, and they're craving that sort of stability. Now, obviously, the results have to be there. Obviously,
Sure.
He for a while does not want to fire people.
Yeah, and firing a coach and a general manager is step one of a process.
Right.
Maybe that's the right call. But does he have faith in himself to go out and find the coach that's going to be better than Kevin Stefanski and find the general manager that's going to be better than Andrew Berry?
In my opinion, the bar's not that high.
No, it's not, but
Yeah.
he could screw this up. Here's what didn't work for the Browns. Changing all of it, a lot.
But it's
That
not a
never
lot.
worked.
At this point, it's been 6 years.
No, I know, but
Yeah.
early on in his tenure, it was change.
Hey, it's a difference between somebody getting a divorce and they 35. When you 52, that's a whole nother ball game.
Why? Because the drawing pool shrinks.
The drawing pool shrinks. You got to get on the internet. You got to get a dating profile. You don't even know the new lingo.
And you've been out of the game
You've
for a
been out
minute.
the game. You're like, listen, I'm gonna just go ahead and go to counseling.
Speaking of which, my
That's a
wife,
great analogy, man.
one of my wife's really close friends, who I've become good friends with over the years, is on some dating. She mentioned to my wife that she was on some dating app because she's single, in her 40s, and I didn't even know what the heck it was. Like, I've never used a dating app in my life.
Yeah.
Can you imagine having to go on a first date?
No.
You
awful.
Oh my God.
What are you talking? I'm not doing it. I'm
It's
cool.
rough in them streets, kids.
Hey, the streets don't play with you. So I can understand if Jimmy is little and listen, Jimmy, by the way, he just trying to get. That's why I be trying to. Jimmy's just trying to get to the. Look, he is not a spring chicken. He's trying to get to that little stadium and relieve this stress. Like, you think I'm gonna be in here in the weeds and I'm in my 70s?
Well, I don't know. He's still in the weeds
That's
now.
a great analogy.
Like,
the
no.
dating game is
The
a great
dating, I'm
analogy,
not dating.
man.
I'm not,
We talk about, like, the roster's in worse shape than when they took over. That's indisputable. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
And I just, like, these are questions that can never be answered. We'll never get the answers. It's the sliding doors theory. I maintain, and I know we haven't talked Baker yet. I know there's the Browns.
overtime.
The Browns' assessment on Baker was spot on. They got it right. Their solution was catastrophic.
That is correct.
But their
But see,
original,
Jay, that's part of it.
But
It's part
their
of the game.
their
You
can't
original
separate the two.
But their original looking at him and going, is he really worth $300 million? Can we really win a Super Bowl with him? No, we can't. We have to figure something out. Yeah. Now, what they chose obviously wrecked the organization. But how much different would they be if they did pay him, even though he's not good enough?
Right.
But would we be having this
And you know
conversation
what?
if they had the ones, if they had the picks, if they weren't in cap hell?
Right, we don't know.
Would we be sitting here saying
Jay-
Andrew Berry's done a terrible job? This roster.
We'll never know.
We'll never
never
have the
know.
answer
But
to it.
that's the exact analogy to bring up in this scenario. And that's why I said this is a two-part process. This isn't as simple as firing these guys. The Browns made the choice to move on from Baker. I get that. But you better bring someone in that's at least his caliber. And
they thought they were.
And they thought they
and,
were.
And the numbers said that they were, but the mental
It
was shot.
did
Yeah,
not
it blew
work.
it.
And then the injuries
So that's
on
what
top
I'm saying.
of it.
Like the Baker thing was made worse for the Browns, not just because he's gone on to win division titles. That doesn't matter. we only care about our silo. And our life in our silo has been markedly worse.
Yeah.
Now, that's why I bring up this is a two-part process. Okay, you got to make the decision to fire the coach and the general manager. Now, a lot more difficult, go replace them with better substitutes. They have not been able to do that. They couldn't do it with Baker, and I'm not sure they would be able to do it with Stefanski and Andrew Berry.
You said
Just not
maybe
sure.
Andrew Berry has gotten better. Maybe Jimmy Haslam will get better. I don't. Same
Listen,
thing.
it's my sincere hope that he does. You
Yeah.
know why? We're stuck with them.
That's true.
Yeah.
We are, as an organization, stuck
Got no
with
choice.
Jimmy
Can't fire
Haslam.
the owner.
So I have to get to tomorrow, the mental gymnastics I do is this. Maybe he's going to figure it out. I have friends that are Cowboys fans.
Ooh.
You talk about, because we never won Super Bowls. They went from Super Bowl being part of their regular lexicon to they can't win a playoff game.
No.
And it's because of their owner and his constant intervention and constantly thinking he knows more than he does.
Oh, he's actually the GM.
So he is the GM. So
Wow.
the only way I can get myself to think about next year and 27 and 29 in the new stadium is to think that our owner is going to improve.
You gotta hope. And
It's got to get better.
Yeah. By the way, before we get to Super Chats, Mike, let's say we owe congratulations to Baker Mayfield, who we just talked about, who became the first player
This guy.
to throw 100 picks since 2018.
Here's a wild stat. I want to throw this
Who
out.
knows?
I thought I was going to save my fire but I got to use this.
Yeah.
8 years, 100 picks.
Yeah.
Do you know how many picks Peyton Manning had after 5 seasons?
Don't care.
100. Now, let's just think about that.
That's in 5 years.
In 5, Baker's
That's
been in the league for
crazy.
8.
That's
It's wild work.
Different game. You could
That's
play
It's
deep.
wild work.
You could beat up wide receivers. Can't compare the numbers. Can't compare the numbers in errors. It's a different error.
I
Terry
believe it
Bradshaw, I think, threw more.
No, I
interceptions
wouldn't
than
compare
touchdowns.
anybody from the 70s.
You can't-
But I
you
do
can't
think it's
do it.
okay to compare someone from this millennium.
And I think they
Yeah,
threw,
it's
I
different.
think,
The game is way changed.
And I think they threw the ball a lot less in the early 90s than they do. I mean, you was still, I mean, 30 picks.
But
is a lot of
100 picks
It's
It's
5 years. I mean, that is.
But
that
nobody
was-
cares about that, Jay. 100 picks by Baker.
Nobody cares about that either.
No, nobody does.
What?
They really don't. You know, here's the crazy thing, and I'm
trying to prove my
guilty of
point.
it
Nobody
too.
cares
What?
about that.
You don't
I'm
think
guilty
people
of it
care
too.
about that?
Well,
No.
here's the fact.
I
This is the
jinxed
fact.
him. I jinxed Baker.
If Baker
That's why
wins on Sunday, it's his 3rd straight division title.
And he in the
and it would be
playoffs.
impressive.
we buried him, right?
With an impressive 8-9 record. That would be quite an accomplishment.
It would be wild work, as G. Bush likes to say.
I don't get any. I don't get nothing out of Baker bashing. I don't listen.
No, he is what he is. He's moved on.
I-
We got our
I don't
own
get-
problems.
I'm
You know
trying
what
to-
would be nice?
I'm
If
trying
we
to
had a
get-
quarterback here, or we've built something here
I'm trying to
that
get
would
to-
make us never think of Baker again. That's what I want.
I want the trophy. I don't care.
By the way,
nothing
Sean
about that.
King,
I don't care
Sean
nothing about
King
that.
said that it's gone downhill from Baker since he had a press conference and he was like, when I was in Cleveland, they called me immature. Now they call me whatever they call it. And he says Baker only plays well when he thinks everybody hates him.
What they do again.
And as soon as he gets this level where he's like, I've arrived, that's when his
Well,
play goes down the
that's
tubes.
probably good news for Bucs fans because his news conference yesterday was really bizarre.
Was it?
He said, I'm out of bullets. I got no more chances. It's do or die time. And that's exactly the way I
And you
want
know
it.
he's going to play well now. He's
Well,
gonna play well.
it would be
And then he's
just
gonna
like
crap his
Baker.
pants
The
in the
problem with
playoffs.
Baker is you get this Baker and you get that Baker. Give me someone that lives in the middle. I can live with that. But you can't have somebody who is way up here through 7 games is 6-1 and getting talked about as an MVP, and then the last 8 games of the year can't get out of his own way.
I think you know. I said this yesterday on the post game. I mean, this game is hard, bro. I think we ain't understand. This game is hard. This
Week to week.
This week to week.
Hell, look at Josh Allen yesterday.
This game will chew.
Terrible. I didn't see any of that game.
He was
It would
awful.
chew and spit out.
It has been the
quarterbacks.
weirdest season in the history of the NFL.
What Jay said earlier, it's never been more than it is right now, week to week.
Matthew Stafford's going to win the MVP, isn't he?
Right now, it looks like he
He's
will.
well, Drake May had a monster game yesterday.
Drake May?
Drake May's been awesome. You know what's been awesome? Last night, the Niners punted for the second
Brock
time
Purdy's been
in the month of
incredible, too.
December.
Purdy had a good game last night.
Purdy had another
game.
5-touchdown game. He had 5 touchdowns last week. They punted twice in the month of December.
Seattle's defense is nasty right
Who
now.
would have
too.
saw?
That's ridiculous.
Who would have saw?
It is. It's completely ridiculous.
Malik Willis
Twice.
just had the greatest game of all time in his
played
life.
really well.
Like
He played
I
really
don't
well.
But they lost.
and I don't understand. Like, see, this is why I listen. Just watch football. Don't bet on it. Just watch it.
Derrick Henry, how about Derrick Henry?
Derrick Henry looked
That
like he was
game-
22 years old again.
I told McNuggets on the with Derrick Henry. I said Derrick Henry might be the greatest running back.
Don't say it.
Hold on. He has the greatest career of all time. When it comes, he was the greatest. He has the greatest high school career.
Oh,
Go
what is
back
this,
and watch it.
basketball?
No, watch it.
We don't embarrass. Come on now.
He ran for like 4,000 in high school.
Yeah.
Another 2,000 in college. He rushed for 2,000 in the pros.
Yeah.
This dude is like fourth. Like
He's
I think-
amazing.
I think because we watch him in real time,
Yeah.
he don't get enough love.
No, you're right.
What is he now? Third on the all-time list?
He's one of the greatest
He's
running
an
backs of all time.
all-time great running back, Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
But I'm not putting him ahead of Adrian Peterson. I'm not putting him ahead of
Oh, I ain't saying
certainly
none of that.
Barry Sanders.
here's the beauty.
Sanders is the best
I
I've
ain't
ever
saying
seen.
Yeah,
Walter
I think
Payton.
for my money,
Walter
I'm with
Payton
you.
and Jim Brown.
If one game, give me Barry Sanders. But here's the beauty about Derrick Henry. This dude, we've kicked dirt on him for 5 years. He's still writing his
phenomenal.
legacy.
Yep.
He's still writing his
unbelievable.
legacy.
Yep.
He's unbelievable.
Yep.
Go ahead, Mike.
All right, we got a bunch of super chats.
Cavs
that we're
stink,
reading.
by the way.
Yeah, we didn't get to the Cavs.
Yeah, we'll do it.
We're
next
not
time.
Smoke
missing
tonight,
anything.
probably.
They play Wemby and the Spurs
gonna get
tonight, so
pounded tonight.
we'll recap that tomorrow. But bunch of super chats. We'll get to as many as we can.
Super.
HTX Nate says, as a big Shedeur fan, if he could just put together a whole game like he played the first half, that would be great. But he can't throw 50-50 balls to Jerry Jeudy. That's a no-no. Judy's not Travis Hunter. Next up, News Ticks says they're going to draft a quarterback, let Watson build some equity next year as the rookie sits, let Watson walk, and start the new guy possibly late in the 2026 season.
Well, we know in July that's when really the decision has to be made on Watson, right? Like if they're going to pay him and tell him to go home.
You'll know
Yeah,
well
we'll know
before
before.
July.
Oh, I thought it was
It
going to
would be an after June 1st cut if they cut him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just.
They should. I just don't
I think
see it.
I'm
with you. They
I
should,
think
but
you see
I don't think they're
Deshaun
going to.
Watson. I think you see.
I mean,
four.
listen, I've said for a couple weeks now, I think Shedeur should be gone. But if my choices are Shedeur and Deshaun, it's still Shedeur.
You gotta pick.
If I have to pick between those two, it's
Who was
Shedeur
the
every time.
emergency quarterback yesterday?
Zappy,
Zappy was the backup. They didn't really have they don't have anyone behind him.
Myles Garrett.
Go ahead, Mike.
All right, next
Who's
these
the tight
next
end?
three,
Who's the
I
tight
want to
end?
read in.
I'd love
I want
to
to
see
read
it,
in
though.
succession. DK says, Jason, Shedeur's a rookie with 6 starts, no first-team reps. I want to see you do a whole show with no microphone and no prior knowledge to the topics. That's what you're asking him to do. Stop moving the goalposts.
Nobody's moving the goalposts.
No one
First
has
team
moved
And that's a
reps,
bad
I think
comparison.
I think the first team reps argument
It's
ran
so
out of gas
overblown.
because
People act like he was
the
not
question is, what fourth string guy gets first team reps in camp?
People are acting like he was pulled out of a cave halfway through the season and dropped onto the field for the first time.
Right.
He had plenty of opportunities.
And what would those same fans be saying right now if we were giving Bailey Zappi reps in practice?
I'll read the next one. Miss Hillman says, Jason can't help himself. Talk football. Always have to talk about the fans or the fan base for his argument. Stop crying.
I'm not, no. I mean, which argument do you want? Do you want the numbers? Do you want my eye test? Do you want the noise around him? There's plenty of reasons. There's plenty of reasons why I think they should just move on.
Neil
Well,
Gray.
Here's the wild one. We haven't talked much about this, but it was pretty early where everybody in town decided Dylan Gabriel sucks. His touchdown to interception rate is 7-2. Sanders is 7-10.
Now, in fairness, Dylan should be about 7-7, 7-8. There was a ton that he had dropped, just like I think
Shedeur had a ball yesterday that
Yes.
should have been picked.
Shedeur-
that comes
Shedeur
out in
throws the ball
laundry.
downfield sometimes.
Yes.
Really, outside
He's got
of the
300 more passing yards, and just about the same as many as
outside of
Tennessee.
last week, who'd they lose to last week? Can't remember.
Bears?
Oh, the Bills.
Bills.
Outside of the Bills game, he's consistently throwing the ball downfield every game. When
Yes.
Dylan Gabriel didn't at all.
Yes.
So you're going
No.
to throw more picks doing that.
And
I don't care.
and by
7-2 and 7-10.
and by the way, you can be a Shedeur person and think he's gonna be a quarterback. You think he got potential, but he still can't throw that football. I'll keep saying it.
Terrible.
we can
No,
cook
he's
that
made
up.
some terrible
That
throws.
was a bad throw, and it was another turnover-worthy throw. But
I mean, honestly, the touchdown should have been picked. If Duggar
Yeah, the
turns his head
touchdown
around,
was weird. The
Doug-
defensive back got
That ball
lost.
was wobbly.
hey,
that should have been picked.
But he
and-
also threw the interception he threw against Chicago that he hit Judy in the chest.
That
and
should have been a
dropped.
touchdown.
Like,
That should
it,
have
it,
100%.
it evens out.
It all washes
here's
out.
what
Yeah.
here's what I do like and this is the thing about him, I like the fact that he throws the ball downfield.
I do like that,
and
too.
I like the fact that he will give a guy like Harold Fanning Jr. opportunity. That was a great adjustment. That was a better catch than the throw.
Which is why they should have gone for it on 4th and 5. Go ahead, Mike.
All right, next one. Next one, Neil Gray says, Bull, you're not taking into context that Shedeur still outplayed Rodgers, and without the 13 points he put up, the Steelers would have won the game.
Do you think he better play better than Rodgers? I thought he played better than Rodgers.
I didn't think either one of them played.
I
they were
gave
both terrible.
Shedeur a C-. I gave Rodgers an F.
I thought they were both terrible.
First of
one of
all,
them were good.
what he said made no sense, but I don't care. It's fine. Go ahead.
Mr. In My Zone says 10 of 11, 7 of 13, 50-50 ball and quarterback tipped. Blame Shedeur instead of lack of separation created by the receivers and subpar line play and horrible offensive play calling.
Okay.
You're right.
Okay.
We have often said how great the talent is on the Browns. You're right. Go ahead.
T-Storm VA Hackett said Shedeur in his first 6 professional starts has basically now completed OTAs, minicamp, and the preseason. He has deserved the chance to be a starter in 2026. This football team is not one quarterback away. You guys are delusional.
No, you are delusional.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Renee
Sorry.
Sands. Did you guys see the folks receiving Shedeur Sanders jerseys for Christmas? Some were in tears. Jason, no one was talking about the Browns for the past couple of years. If Shedeur leaves, we're gone too.
good.
Goodbye. I did see that video. That video was incredible. I think that you have to separate the art from the artist. I don't know that anybody can say anything negative about Shedeur. The way he's handled all of this, I think, is exemplary.
I don't think anybody
he's
has
a
said anything
likable
negative about
kid.
him. Yeah.
No, but here's what I say that to say this. It's easy to see why there would be so many people that love this
Of course, 100%.
kid and want to see. Look, we're Browns fans. We want someone to be the answer.
We all want him to be successful,
But you
people
can't
think we
squint
don't.
and
So
say
we do.
7 touchdowns and
It
10
doesn't matter. It's
interceptions is
fine.
definitively the answer yet. We're not there.
Let fans be
I
fans.
know
What
they're
are you
just
gonna do?
fanning. I get it.
We all
get
get.
it.
It
But I
doesn't
did
matter.
see that video and it was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Next one comes
crazy.
from Priest Hakeem, who says, some of you Cleveland media people are sad. You guys are desperate for a quarterback savior. Build around 12, better receivers, better offensive line, better playbook, better coach in 26. And if he stinks, just draft a quarterback in 27.
If
It's
we are
simple.
sad for wanting to build around a quarterback savior,
Yeah.
we want that. Every team that is talking about the playoffs right now has a quarterback that they believe is their answer.
Yeah.
And we don't, and we're not in that conversation. So, yeah, we want a savior. And I don't care who it is. And I don't care what he looks like. To be honest, I don't even care what kind of person he is. I used to care about that.
Yes.
No, I had this conversation
Yeah.
middle of last week. I said I used to want my quarterback to be a good person. I liked it when we had Bernie Kosar and he was a good human being.
Yeah.
I'm squinting hard enough now to say, hey, if it's Deshaun Watson, it's Deshaun Watson.
Can
I don't
Charles
care.
Manson throw a deep out?
Yeah, Charles.
I don't know about
Can he
that.
get the ball outside the
That's
half?
Isn't he?
I don't know.
No, he's
dead.
not. That's not.
But I've lowered my bar. I want him to
Of
be a great
course.
person, but if
Yeah.
he sucks as a person, I don't care.
Let's go to
want him
Rikers
to be
and see
good.
if any of those guys can run
I
play
got a
action.
bunch more. Let me try to get some
We get
more
Henry
in.
Ruggs out
All
of
right,
prison.
we're gonna get to
Mr. In My Zone says Dante Moore was Dylan's backup, but we should draft him. LOL. Hashtag free Shedeur.
Tom Brady was Drew Henson's backup. LOL. Draft Tom Brady.
Good comeback.
Good third
I
baseman.
got Nunes says Shedeur already has 2 wins in 1 month of football and is on pace to match the Browns total from last season. Also had them in position to win 2 more. Maybe you guys lucked into a 5th-round gem.
Might have.
Maybe.
And if we did, that's
be great.
That's the solution to our problems
Hey.
because
That'd be
we don't have to pay him.
Shoot.
Yeah.
So we get a 5th-round draft pick as the
Sly.
starting quarterback. That's a win.
Sly says Kevin getting fired because he couldn't get a former top 5 quarterback in his prime to play serviceable, and other coaches have turned Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones, Purdy, Mac Jones, Malik Willis into real players.
That's not completely accurate. But go ahead.
Soup Loop says a 20.6 QBR with 10 interceptions with 1 game remaining. That's the lowest Browns QBR average for a season of all time. Minimum 6 starts.
That can't be his QBR average.
I think it is, but I'm not 100%.
Wait a
Steve Phillips, Shedeur,
That's
see
his
the stats
total
real quick.
QBR.
No, it can't be that low.
Yeah,
Still 10
no,
picks.
it's-
That factors in heavily.
20.6?
Yeah.
I'll tell you 1 sec.
That
Yeah,
just
no,
seems-
well, we have 20.2, so maybe 20.6 is better.
ahead.
Let me
Okay.
look it up myself. Hold on.
Good God.
Hold on.
Jay's looking at Jay's got that. I told you so look on his face right now. I did not realize it was that low.
Yeah, his quarterback rating for the season, which is not QBR, his quarterback
rating is even worse stat than QBR.
Is 68.5. His QBR is 20.6.
There are no numbers that support Shedeur's having a good year. None. You can't find them.
No, I agree with that.
Good year is the term is year. We need to get it. What is it? A good 6 games.
The 7 to 10 is what because I've always asked you guys. Last couple of weeks, I've asked what is the quarterback stat. EPA is what you like. I like touchdowns to interceptions. You like, everybody seems to have a different number.
Jay, what if they run down the field 90 yards and he throws a 1-yard touchdown?
Well, it's like a pitcher that comes in and gets the cheap win.
I mean,
what is your
that's why we don't pay attention
metric?
to wins.
What is,
I don't know. I mean, you can't really
not have an opinion on that.
Jay, you can't look at any one stat and say that's it. It's got to be.
But for this conversation, I'm asking, what is your most important quarterback stat?
I don't think I have one, to be totally honest. I don't.
Lord.
I don't think.
Remember we did that blind resume thing, and we did a blind resume. Remember we
did the first 5 starts in college for these guys.
Right. It's you have to take the totality of everything.
If I had to choose,
I always want more information.
If I had to choose, I'd take a stat like QBR or EPA,
and that's fair.
Way more than touchdown, because
there's no right or wrong
when
answer
you have
for
touchdowns to interceptions, there's no context at all. You have no context.
No, it's how much you're helping your team versus how much you're hurting your team, and ultimately, I think that's because it's a give and take.
But you could have a quarterback throw for 340 yards and 1 touchdown.
Yeah,
because he got it to the goal line every time, and they ran it in for 1 yard.
Sure.
And there'd be another guy who might throw for 4 touchdowns, has a way worse game.
8 yards
that
passing, 4 touchdowns.
Time.
Sure, it could happen.
That's
what I'm saying.
The time.
There's you want the most information you can get. But for me, just me.
Yeah.
If I'm going to look at one, it's the TD to interception ratio, because I think one takes into account how much you're helping your team. It doesn't mean that's all, because in the case of like Josh Allen, he runs a lot of touchdowns.
All right, we're going to overtime. We'll see you in overtime talking Cavs in OT.
Total touchdowns.
I think for everybody.